The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Install a new furnace and AC combo and save up to $3,000 with manufacturer and utility rebates along with Standard Heating's discount. Visit standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93X.
A man diagnosed with schizophrenia has been given a support dog that can help him determine what is real and what is a hallucination. But the craziest part is there's no dog.
Scientists in Portugal have accidentally created a mouse embryo that has an extra leg where its genitals should be. And brother, same.
Yours was the size of a mouse's leg?
Today, the Minnesota Twins officially named the television broadcast booth the Dick Bremer broadcast booth. Fans in Dick Bremer fashion, raise your cups for a left-handed toast and salute one of the greatest ambassadors the Twins have ever had. Mr. Bremer, it's your pitch.
Showtime.
My eyes, Cubby, my eyes.
What do you mean?
It got me.
Oh no, herpy eye?
No, that government-controlled solar eclipse shot me right.
Oh, no.
It shot me right in my retinas, and now I can't vote. It was all a setup.
And they're tracking you now, too.
That government-controlled solar eclipse, it shot me in my eyes, and now I'm unable to vote. And all the sheeple fell for it. Welcome to the post-eclipse edition of the Half-Ass Morning Show. Oh, God. I know there weren't many survivors. But for those who lived, we're here for you. Word is a lot of folks are suffering eye damage today, Josh, from that eclipse gimmick.
I was reading that. One of the top Google searches is, what do I do to fix my eyes, or my eyes hurt, something like that?
Yeah, let's see. What are they typing in? As of yesterday afternoon. When
my eyes hurt.
My eyes hurt, and why do my eyes hurt?
I learned my lesson from last time in 2017, where I thought, these people can't tell me what to do with my body. I can look at the sun directly if I want to, and I did, and I thought for sure I blinded myself.
All right, so if you stared a little too long, there is a list of symptoms to look out for. Maybe some of you took too long of a stare at that eclipse. Headaches, blurred vision, a blind spot in one or both eyes. It usually resolves on its own. You can tell folks that, right, Josh?
Yeah, I had all those things.
It resolves
the last time.
Did you really?
And I felt like a complete moron.
Yeah.
My God, they were right. It's like when you finally realize your parents know something.
Yeah.
When they warn you not to do something. When I put my tongue on a frozen pole, my parents had told me, don't do it. You know, I saw it in a Christmas story, and I thought, well, that can't really work. And it did, and I ripped half my tongue off. Same thing. Realized maybe my parents know a thing or two.
I didn't listen to my folks when I was a young kid when they told me that beer before liquor slogan.
That can get you in trouble.
They told me when I was a kid, beer before liquor, never been sicker. I didn't listen to them. Mm-hmm. Learned my lesson the hard way.
What
does this say now? If your eye problems from staring at the eclipse, if it goes on for too long, go see a doctor. People are claiming to have eclipse sickness. It made them sick. There's no evidence that's a real thing, but there are people that were using it today to get a day off. They say they can't sleep. They're tired. They have no appetite.
Okay. Being a little dramatic.
Because of the eclipse. What are you talking about? One woman claimed that the eclipse knocked her smooth off of her menstrual cycle.
Oh, no.
How do you know that so fast?
How did you know it immediately in the moment?
Yeah. Might want to get a pregnancy test just to make sure.
I also saw people worrying about whether or not their dogs were going to be impacted by the eclipse. You know, whether their dogs, if they needed glasses for their dogs, if their dogs were going to be outside during the eclipse.
Oh, I can't tell you how many times my dogs look up at the sun.
All day long.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anybody go out there and look at it?
No, it was way too cloudy.
I slept through it.
You did?
I slept right through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go look, but you're right. Actually, it just seemed kind of like a stormy day more than anything.
That's what I heard. But yeah,
I didn't
was
look
like
at
Nick,
the sun, though.
I was sleeping, so.
Man.
Of course, as soon as I left here, I forgot it was happening.
Some gal says it just knocked her clean across the room and it killed her menstrual cycle right on the spot. And I'm not trying to be cute with that.
My 4 sons, Jesus, wants to know how long after the eclipse it becomes safe to stare at the sun again. I think by today. I think it's like immediately. You could have late yesterday afternoon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's good to get a few minutes in a day staring at the sun.
Vitamin D.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, one lady did go eclipse crazy yesterday in Florida. No surprise. Most everyone's a nut job down there. A lady checked out of a hotel, told everyone that crossed her path that she was going on a shooting spree. God told her to, she said, because of the eclipse. So she started shooting at cars on the highway.
I've got this coming up in the news. There was a couple of people were injured, including one person who was shot in the neck.
Oh, no.
Right in the neck.
Oh.
Ooh, you don't want a bullet there.
No.
I would think I was done for, wouldn't you guys?
Yep.
I saw a guy once get a tranq dart in the neck.
You're crazy.
All right, this is funny. I don't know, just the way it's written cracked me up. Apparently a weatherman from Mississippi. Maybe you have this guy in your news too, Josh. The weatherman who got emotional watching the eclipse with his family.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't have this in the news, but I have the audio of it.
I just love the way this is written. So the guy, I guess, he's a weather guy. This stuff means a lot to him. He studied it in school and everything. He's dedicated his life to weather and the planets and all that crap. So he's watching this happen with his family. His name is David Hartman. The part that cracked me up is the verbiage right here says, he nerded out on it pretty hard. I like the way that's put.
Yeah,
he nerded out on it pretty hard. That got the guy all emotional.
Well, we are almost to totality here. The skies have cleared off. I'm going to get emotional. This is just unbelievable. And we're just about to totality here in the next minute. We're looking for the diamond ring. Wow. Here we go. It's just about to go total. Look for the diamond ring.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
There it is. That's the diamond ring right there. Look at the diamond ring. Spectacular. Oh, look there. There's a small cloud and you see a halo. Look at that. The diamond ring is still, you can still see the diamond ring. Unbelievable.
Oh my God.
And there it is. You're looking at the corona of the sun. That's the sun's atmosphere. Unbelievable.
I think he had too many Coronas.
That makes me so happy for him.
I'm telling you,
I'm
he
glad
loves
the guy
it.
enjoyed himself.
He loves it. So there you go. No, I slept right through the damn thing. Forgot all about it. Took a little napski. Woke up. The freaking wife, she says to me, it was no big deal. And I didn't even know what she was referencing. In the end, she was referencing the eclipse, and the both of us moved on with our lives, hopefully separately soon enough. So that's how that broke down.
Yeah, it was a big deal for some folks, that's for sure.
What else is going on around here? What's next? What's the next big event?
Earth Day.
Oh, yeah.
Got Earth Day coming up later this month.
Yeah, Arbor Day right around the corner, too.
That'll be a big one.
Tell you what, we should get a hold of that weatherman from Mississippi on Earth Day. He's probably pretty pumped about stuff like that. There you go. Anyone going to make this move here? I was reading about this a minute ago. Anyone going to go this route? More and more people are ditching their smartphones for flip phones.
No, I know that's become kind of a thing. I've seen more of them now.
I have too, actually.
Well, I guess it says young people. And we got two characters on this program who I would still refer to as young people, Wapple and Ashley. And I don't know if this is just kind of a niche-y, trendy thing, like pulling your jeans up to your armpits or sucking on a vape rod. I don't know if this is just a trend. Someone hip on social media tried it, so now all the young people got to follow in line. But it's a young people thing.
Yeah, they know they can't get TikTok on flip phones, right?
They know that.
I think that's kind of the point, is they're so addicted to it, they're trying to kick it. The
I
addiction.
love to kick it. I kick it every weekend.
Can you kick it? Yes,
you can.
It's it's funny because like the flip phone, it has your two basic functions, right? Making a phone call and probably texting.
Sure.
The two things young people do the least with their cell phones.
They don't even text anymore?
It's like Snapchat or social media messages, stuff like that.
Really? No kidding.
At least I can tell you the young people in my family.
The young people.
I did this not by choice, maybe like 3 years ago or so. My phone broke, and I just went back to like, me and my family have this like emergency phone that we use if any of our phones break. It's been in our family for at least 10 years now. And so I went back to that phone, and you can't get like any of the apps, no internet. It was just phone calls and text messages. And the amount of people that thought I just like died, fell off the edge of the earth. It's like, I still have my phone. You could just text me.
So you currently use a flip phone?
No, I did like 3 years ago. I did that for
Because you broke your phone.
yeah, I mean at least 6 months. I loved it. It was so nice, but
But you went right back to your addiction when you could.
yeah, I needed to have email access for sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Dana's right. Dana said, at least according to the story, young people in their 20s are hopelessly and helplessly addicted, and some of them at least are recognizing that. They're addicted to social media and whatever else you do with the fancy phones. So they're trying to cut down, trying to quit, and go back to just a basic little flippy flip phone.
I was going to say, I know people my age or even older that just don't like talking on the phone so much so that you might be texting and then you realize, you know what, we better call each other it'll be a lot easier, and then they don't answer the phone, but they text back. And now I was thinking, that's a thing for some people, but maybe it's just they don't want to answer when I call. Son of a bitch, I'm just figuring this out this second.
No, I knew it was going to go in that direction.
I never thought about it till right now.
It is not you.
I mean, like, our boss is an example. He doesn't really there'll be times like I've called him, or one of us will call him and you can tell he's annoyed. Like, why? This could have been a text message.
He doesn't like to talk on the telephone.
And he even has a snarky outgoing voicemail, which cracked me up the first time. I was about to leave him a message and it says, I see you're still leaving voicemails. If you must, go ahead. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll just text him. I'm not going to leave a voicemail.
His outgoing message even makes a smart-ass comment about people who still want to talk out loud on a telephone. There's a proper time for speaking out loud on a telephone call and a proper time for texting. I enjoy both. What's frustrating is what you were just referencing, Josh, is people who don't know the difference.
Yeah.
You need to know when a text is appropriate and when actual, what's the word I'm looking for? Actual on-time.
Like real-time conversation.
Thank you, real-time. You need to know the difference between when it's appropriate to text and when it's appropriate to have a real-time adult conversation.
Do you have somebody like this in your life? I have somebody else who will be like, hey, you didn't get back to me. I had a question on this or that. I'm like, I never saw a text. Like, well, no, I emailed you. And so, all right, my mom will email something that should have been a text message.
That's cute that she emails you at all. It's so weird. My parents would never email me.
But she'll get frustrated with me like, why didn't you get right back to me? I'm like, well, first and foremost, my email updates like every 10 minutes, compared to a text, you could have just texted that type of thing.
I don't even think my parents know my email.
We're seriously.
So this is your group of people, Ashley, in their 20s. They've been raised on social media, which, again, I'll say it again, the biggest mistake in human history, social media. They've been raised on it from the time they were 11, 12 years old. It says here they've been doom scrolling ever since. What does it mean to doom scroll?
That's where you just mindlessly scroll social media on your phone.
Okay. And I thought it was doom because all the terrible stuff on social media, or you're reading just terrible headline after terrible headline.
Yep.
So again, according to the story, there's a handful of these young people who have said, well, I need to straighten my life out. So they're ditching the fancy stuff, going back to the flip phone.
Good for them for at least acknowledging it.
Medical Device Jesus said, you also have to know your audience. My brother will try and stay on the phone for an hour no matter what the phone call is about. That's true. And, that's something I should have mentioned, that there are times you can't answer the phone, right? Wherever you are, it's too loud or you're in the middle of something else, but you're trying to keep up with this conversation. Sometimes you're in a couple conversations at once. Yeah, of course. I was more referring to people that I know have nothing else going on, but just admittedly hate talking on the phone.
That's incredible. To think, it was a long damn, what the hell year is it, 2024? 34 years ago, I was a senior in high school. That's a lot of years, but yet it feels like yesterday. 34 years ago, there was one rotary phone hanging in my parents' home.
Was it like ours, where the cord was about 2 blocks long?
Oh, no, it was...
You had to stand there?
Yes.
Well, I remember when we used to have to stand there, but after a while, we just got the world's longest cord.
Same thing growing up, Josh.
It's incredible.
Yeah, we would drop the phone from the top of the stairs to untangle the cord.
Yeah,
I hated the foot-long cord that we had at the house. I was envious of the kids who had the mile-long cord, and you could wrap it around, into a couple of rooms and things like that.
You used to get excited about things. Like, think if we did that today. Like, the kids would not give a crap. If you bring home a PS5, they'll be excited. But, if you had an opportunity for a longer cord, let's say, rotary phones were still a thing. That's funny. Yours was a rotary, too. Boy, if you accidentally did a 9 instead of a 0 and you had to start, just wait for that thing to take forever, boy, did that suck. But yeah, I remember ours was so short for the longest time, you couldn't sit, you had to stand right next to that phone.
Andrew Dice Clay has a great bit on how different it is now with cell phones as opposed to home phones. And he talks about how, they've even taken the balls off of the ring of a phone. He says nowadays, a phone just kind of makes a little, you know what I'm talking about? Where he refers to when he was a kid, where he said, in the old days, your home phone ringing would almost put everyone in a state of shock.
Yeah.
Because it was just, and it was a panic, right? Because everyone was convinced it was for them.
Yeah.
No, get out of my way. That's for me. That kind of a thing.
No matter where you are in the house, you can hear it.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah. He can hear it 2 blocks over.
It would almost put you in a state of shock. It would anger you, of course, if it was too late at night. 11:30. Who the hell's... This is part of the bit. Who the hell's calling this phone at 11:30 at night? That's the first thing that would come out of your mouth when you pick it up.
Boy, if somebody called at dinner time at our house, my dad would be in a rage.
That's what
I saw him rip the cord out once. He was so pissed off.
Yeah.
So I still get, I'm just thinking, well, I wonder what time they eat, because I still have that residual fear of my father.
I'm the same way.
There's a lot of times he had this rage that went from 0 to 150, and that was one of them. I knew, oh no, whoever's on the other end of that phone is going to get chewed out. If he doesn't just rip the phone off the wall, one of the two. That was such a huge deal for him. Does anybody here still have a landline?
No, I wish I did.
No, there's
Parents do.
There's a jack in the kitchen. And I thought it'd be funny to get some weird phone and put it up there, but
I'll show you a jack in the kitchen.
I knew you would.
We had one up until maybe 10 years ago now. Geez, it's a lot longer than I thought it was. But all we got on that thing was spam calls.
Sure.
That was it. Somebody and whoever had that phone before us had some serious money troubles.
Oh,
they
really?
owed a lot of people a lot of money. Boy, did we get a lot of those phone calls. I felt really bad for whoever that was, and I understand why they changed their number. I wish I just didn't get it.
My parents didn't get rid of their home phone until a couple of years ago, and I still called it when they wouldn't answer their cell phones, because I always knew, yep, call that number. And I hated the first time I called it and it said this line is, doesn't exist, basically. That was heartbreaking.
My folks still have a home phone. When I was a kid, when I was a high school kid, junior high kid, I had very little consideration for others. And we could go down many conversations on that topic. Like a lot of kids, I didn't have much consideration for others. I was in it for myself. On the topic of telephones, I had no problem calling a girl that I was interested in at 2:00 in the morning.
Really?
Wow,
Yes.
that's ballsy.
So you didn't care, like, if the parents freaked out on you or anything?
Right. I thought, okay, so what? I got yelled at by the dad, or so what that dad's going to yell at the girl for having a boy call at 2:00 in the morning. I was willing to get beyond that so we could say nasty things to each other. You know what I mean? All the girls I was interested in high school, I don't know how their parents didn't look up my address and come over and choke me to death because I would 3 o'clock in the morning, just call.
See, I was the guy that when a girl's dad would answer, I'd panic and hang up.
You would.
Yeah. That's almost more creepy.
Yeah. It was like, hear the hello.
Sometimes I'd make something up, of course, if the dad seemed aggravated. I would claim I was having a family emergency, and she's my best friend. I need to talk this out with her, right? I'd soften them up with some BS, but I just thought, okay. I mean, it wasn't like it was usually not on a school night, of course, but it was one of those deals. If we were at a beer party till midnight, I assumed, 2 a.m.? She's still awake, right?
Yeah.
Let's continue the
Sure.
conversation. And sometimes I'd soften up the parents with some kind of fake sob story, but I loved the telephone. I loved it because it was pretty much all we had.
That was it, right?
Call your friends, prank phone calls. I loved the telephone.
I do miss prank phone calls.
We only had 2-3 working channels on a black and white television. That gets effing old after a while, right? Get on the telephone. It was a beautiful thing.
Lives in Brainerd, Jesus, is 50. He said when we'd be outside doing chores, his mom and dad had a bell outside the house, so when the phone would ring, you could run to it. I'd never heard of something like that.
Dude.
80s made me, 90s raised me, Jesus said. I hooked up my grandma's old rotary phone in my classroom just for fun. My student didn't realize it actually worked. Called 911. The school secretary was not amused. Origami with Machines, Jesus said his wife will text her same friend on Snap, Messenger, and text simultaneously. Pick one, he says.
That is frustrating because there's so many ways for people to get a hold of each other. Someone's like, "Well, you didn't respond." I'm like, well, you messaged me on Instagram. I didn't see that. Just text me.
Or then sometimes you have the same conversation, but on 3 different platforms. Text, Instagram, and Snapchat. Oh, that gets annoying.
This person says, what about smartwatches? So many people have those and don't use their phone. Now, that's true. My wife uses her smartwatch a lot. I had one for a little bit thinking that, it won't be rude if I pull my phone out when I get a text message. But I started looking at my watch when I got it, and then everybody assumed I was annoyed and wanted to get out of there.
Yeah.
I'd hear so many times, oh, do you got to go? With the phone, it's so common, people don't do that. But with the watch, it did, so I got rid of mine. Plus, I'm not much of a watch guy. It gets in the way of my sleeve tattoos.
The watches just slide right off your wrists.
Yeah, right. And I've got dainty hands.
With those little dainty hands.
Yeah, they're so dainty.
There's nothing holding that wristwatch.
No.
Oh, I'll tell you what. There you go. Yeah, I love the telephone. We made so many just off-the-charts, ridiculous, sometimes harassing prank phone calls, when we were kids, that one of my best friends ended up in front of the local police.
Oh, jeez.
Interviewed by the police. God. It was horrible, really. It was so stressful. Because when I found out, he called me from the cop shop. He had been, I don't remember the details of how he ended up in front of our hometown police. But there he was, and thank God he did this, because he called me from the cop shop. He had a minute where he was able to make a phone call, and it was one of those deals where he says, hey, dude, I'm at the cop shop because of that prank phone call that we made, so here's the story we're sticking with, right? Thankfully, he had an opportunity to call me, and so we could get our stories straight in case I had to go in. They never called me. They just picked on him. And he's still laughing, while he's telling me this. Oh, God.
Caller ID really ruined the prank phone call, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
And star 69.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's Dick Day. Josh played a little Dick Bremer audio in our intro. Coming up here at 7:30, Dick Bremer's going to join us to talk about those red-hot twins. I'm not worried about it. I'm not. Same thing happened last year. They'll be all right. But we always look forward to talking to Mr. Bremer because the guy's a stinking living legend. That's what he is. And we'll have all kinds of other this and that going on in the program. We dig you for tuning in, but we got to take a little break and, how do they say it in the business, Josh? Pay the bills?
Pay the bills.
Pay the bills. We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
It is the triple savings spring sale at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Install a new furnace and AC combo and save up to $3,000 with manufacturer and utility rebates along with Standard Heating's discount. That's a trifecta. Visit standardheating.com.
Just Capital is a nonprofit that tracks which companies are a force for good. Companies like Bank of America, which just earned the Just Capital seal. Bank of America is ranked #1 for ongoing commitment to their workers with initiatives like Sharing Success, which awarded 97% of their teammates additional compensation, nearly all in stock. This is the program's 7th consecutive year, awarding more than $4.8 billion in total. Visit justcapital.com to learn how a just business is a better business.
Furnished by Just Capital.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, so we've already had a conversation about using the old home telephone. Before all these cute smartphones or whatever they're called, you just had the home telephone. And everyone in your household was in serious competition to use it.
Oh, how many fights did you get in town? But especially before call waiting to get off the phone.
Get off the friggin' phone.
Waiting for a call.
I gotta call Donnie. You wanted to have that home phone all to yourself so you could call some chicks or make some prank phone calls or call the local radio station and tell the DJ that he sucks.
Now you can just text us that.
Yeah.
It's way more convenient.
We made it really easy on everybody to tell us how awful we are.
Got a couple of text messages on the old days using the home phone. Oil pumping Jesus. Reminiscing this morning, he is. He says, I remember talking to girls on my landline sitting on my inflatable couch.
That sounds sweet.
Yeah.
I've never seen an inflatable couch.
Sitting on the couch talking to an inflatable girl.
I could do that too.
He says those were the good old days, man, and he's right. And then I did not get a name connected to this message, but they went ahead and said when I was younger, I used to call a girl that I thought I was dating. I called her long distance and racked up a $650 bill.
Oh.
My grandpa was piffed.
I can imagine.
Back in the days with cell phones, before unlimited text messaging and minutes were a thing, my girlfriend in high school racked up something like $700-800 in text message fees 1 month. And her mom was not pleased.
Yeah,
especially because usually you get the bill and it'd show you like every time you sent a text and what number it was too. So it was just pages and pages of her sending me text messages. So it was always my number that would pop up. So I had to deal with some fallout there too.
I'd be dead.
Yeah, I always got in trouble when my mom got that bill, and you could see it all itemized like that.
Mm-hmm. So people here who had landlines, did you ever pick up a different phone to listen to a sibling or somebody's conversation?
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Any
so
good
much
stuff?
fun.
Any good stuff?
No.
I listened to a lot of the phone calls that my brother got from girls, and he didn't get nearly as many as I did. But I think that goes without saying.
Did he have game?
No, that's where I was going with this. I picked up the phone a few times, secretively, and listened in on my brother talking to chicks. and he was a dork. He sucked at it. He was terrible. He had no game.
Did you help him?
Like Cyrano?
Did I help him?
He's just hiding behind a bush, feeding him lines.
Have you listened to one story that I've ever told about my relationship through the years with my brother?
Don't ask questions you know the answer to.
Maybe it was a good day. I don't know.
Of course I didn't help him. I sat and giggled because he sucked.
I could imagine you sabotaging him. Feeding him lines that would just make him look worse.
Yeah. Tell her that you're touching yourself.
Girls love that.
I'm currently touching myself. Well, you guys, I've told you before that me and my pal, I mean, we were just obsessed with prank phone calls. It's all that we did, pretty much from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.
The Jerky Boys were like gods to us growing up. All the prank phone calls those guys would make. So good.
They were hilarious. Before the Jerky Boys, me and this pal of mine, we just orchestrated some great stuff. I told you a few minutes ago that this pal of mine ended up at the police station over some of the calls that we made, and I almost got tied up in it. Thankfully, my name wasn't brought up because he's a good friend. But we went as far once as to prank call Japan. We had done everything we could possibly do within the borders of the United States as far as prank phone calls go, so we prank called Japan just to say we did. And, of course, that bill ended up on, I forgot if it was my phone or his phone, but that stuff was easy to explain away when you're 15 years old because, I mean, as ridiculous and as wild as we were as kids, there's no way my parents would believe that I called Japan. So I basically just said, I have no idea what that's doing there. Mm-hmm. And they would believe it, because why would they ever assume that I'd call? It was the same thing with pay-per-view porno movies, for me personally at least. When my dad and I moved in together, when I got right out of high school, my brother was there too. So my brother and I and our dad lived together. Right when my brother and I graduated high school, we finally got cable television, and they had the pay-per-view pornos, right? Well, my dad didn't understand anything about pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. So when he'd get the bill, and he'd say, what is this? Slutty mom's potty party. What is this? This $5.95? We'd say, I don't know. I have no idea.
Just plead ignorance?
Yeah, and he'd believe it because he had no idea what pay-per-view was, and so we could easily fool him and say, there's a lot of glitches. You know, what we really ordered was Rocky IV or whatever, right? And he worked every time.
When you made prank phone calls, what was your way of making one? Did you have a target? Because what we would do is just dial random numbers. We never really searched a business of a phone number of a restaurant or something like that.
We were very elaborate and we thought out many of them.
So your target, right? Because we'd always have a plan, of course.
Our targets were almost always fellow classmates.
Okay.
We would pick on our fellow classmates or their parents.
Ours were just random numbers.
Okay. At the end of the night, when we had exhausted all of our ideas, that's when we would start dialing random numbers. But we would talk about this in school, who we're going to get. We would base a lot of our pranks on the drama that was happening in front of us at our junior high. If Missy and Caroline got in a big fight in the hallway, then we were going to mess with them on that particular evening. That was a lot of our motivation. It was sick, twisted stuff.
Yeah, we were more just goofy, never sick and twisted. Hick Chick Jesus said, growing up, we had shared lines in the country. It sucked waiting for a neighbor to get off the phone.
Oh, wow. Never even considered that.
Oh, God, my folks tell stories of when they were growing up and, you know, the way phone calls were made and the limited amount of people who had a phone and the easy access in listening in on what your neighbors were up to.
Yeah,
very interesting stuff.
My mom would tell stories like that too, where you could just pick up the phone. We had mentioned, within the same house, listening to a sibling or a parent. You could listen to a neighbor, something like that.
Yeah.
she
Oh,
said.
that'd be so fun.
Yeah, you'd pick up the phone and there'd be a conversation happening
Heck
because it was the
yeah.
only line in town.
My grandma was a switchboard operator for the phone company, so she would get some dirt on random people all the time.
Is it like in the movies where she's unplugging one cable, plugging it in somewhere else, a little patch bay?
Yeah, she said it was like that, and then her and her group of coworkers, they'd huddle around a good conversation.
Do you think your grandma ever made any extra ching on the side talking filthy to local farmers?
Maybe.
Metal hand finishing Jesus said, three-way calling. He wants to know if we remember when you'd call someone and talk about someone else, but they were on the line listening to the conversation.
Oh, yeah, that was big.
I never have done that, but I know Nick's told the story a couple times about doing that.
Doing what now? I'm sorry.
Where a three-way call where you call one person and then call someone else and either talk about them to see what they'll say while the other person's listening.
That was
or just set up a conversation.
Yes, we were very efficient with that bit. That's kind of what I was explaining. We'd wait for a couple of girls at our junior high to suddenly become enemies, even though they were the best of friends. You know how girls operated back in junior high. They were the best of friends, hand in hand in the hallway one day, and then the next day, they want to kill each other. So that's how we operate. We would call Missy and say, hello, is this Missy? Yes, it is. This is blankety blank. Can you hold? Right? She'd hold. We'd click over to her new arch enemy, get them on the phone together, and then just not make a sound. And you'd hear Missy and Caroline, whatever name I used earlier, realize they're suddenly on the phone together. They don't know why, and they've just broken up. That was magical. We didn't have to do a thing. Just let them go after each other.
Angry bus driver Jesus has two sisters and an older brother. The fights over the phone, he said, were unreal. Eventually, his dad got a second line put in the house, but it didn't help as much as he had hoped because one sister would set up party lines on both and talk on both phones at the same time.
Oh, my God. It was a beautiful thing. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, Big D Trucker Jesus, it reminded me of something. *67, that could block your number. That was the workaround when caller ID became a big thing.
That's what we did, yeah. The *67.
Used the heck out of that.
Or we just prank call from school. There was a payphone in the lunchroom.
Oh,
We'd
yeah.
use that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. I called the payphones at our school over and over and over again. It was just a riot. Pretended I was a DJ. Play them a song. Tell them if they get the song right, they win $100.3 or whatever. You following the gimmick, right?
Yeah.
We're in the radio business. You know how that stuff works. And then they'd get the song right, and I'd hang up on them. And they bought it. The excitement in their voices, believing that a DJ had called a random payphone to play this on-air game, right?
Yeah.
The excitement in their voice.
Payphone game.
It's Dawkins. I know that one, right? And then and they'd be telling their friends, I just won $100 on whatever the local radio. And then I just click.
Wait, what year was that? Just out of curiosity.
84, 85?
You son of a bitch.
You owe this man $100.
I've been holding on to that painful memory for years.
All right, on to the news. The stupid news, that is. And this is a fun place to start. A guy in Ireland showed up at his court date ass naked. You think we could go somewhere with that, Josh?
If the two of us decided to do something like that, well,
No. Can we hold a Can we go somewhere with that as a morning show?
I think we can move on.
Okay, good. Guy in Ireland showed up to his court date ass naked. Unfortunately, this story is really effing Irish. And just like when I visited Ireland many years ago and couldn't understand a single word that was said to me the entire 4 or 5 days that I was there, I can barely understand a word that's being reported in this article. I'll do my best. From what I can understand here, the naked dude was pissed off about a traffic ticket that the local cops dumped on him. And this was his way of protesting his appearance in court. He straight up refused to wear clothes. It's surprising that he was allowed into court, swinging, but he was. There's also something in here about how the naked guy was also really upset that his emotional support cat has gone missing. And that drama added to his decision to walk on into the courthouse butt-ass naked. One part of the story suggests that the cat cut loose on the guy during the traffic stop, and he blames the cops for that, so he got naked as a form of revenge. Another part of the story suggests that this idiot lost his emotional support cat all on his own, and the stress of losing his kitty caused him to get naked for his court appearance. Again, the story is so Irish, I'm not exactly sure what the hell is going on. But the dude shows up to court naked, and part of his problem is this missing emotional support cat.
If the cat was around, the cat would have talked him out of it. I think that's a big part of it. And I think the reason the story's a little tough to confuse, I'm convinced an AI wrote this. I've been seeing that more and more and more in news stories.
It's brutal.
That sucks.
It's brutal. I apologize if you're confused. I'm trying to cover my ass here.
Well, that's the gist of it.
Davis is the name of the naked guy. At first, he entered the courtroom with his hands over his Irish curse and testicles. But pretty quickly, he made sure everyone in the courthouse got a look at his gear. He took his hands away so everyone could see. He hollered at his lawyer to F off. He called the judge scum. He said he was stressed because his emotional support cat was missing. He said, "Please, I need to find my animal. I'm lost without him, and he without me." The judge ordered that the naked dude be sent off to a doctor to be checked out as soon as effing possible. He's due back in court in a few days. Someone should at least try to get the dude into some pajamas.
Yeah, he could probably use the talking to.
Throw a pair of gym shorts on there, bud.
I would worry about that Irish curse. But I suppose if you're in Ireland, everybody's in the same boat.
Everyone's got the curse.
I can't remember. Man, here's how you know you're getting old or you're working too much or something. I can't remember if I've ever received a speeding ticket afore. I'm going to go ahead and assume that I have, and it was just so long ago that I simply can't remember.
Really? You don't remember?
I just can't. I can't.
I'm going to guess you haven't then. I think you'd remember.
I don't know. I just can't remember. Anyone here ever tried to fight a speeding ticket in court, and how did she go?
Yes, in a way. I just counted on you meet with the, what do they call that?
Public pretender.
No, I forgot. There's a name. I forgot. Dang it. It's right there.
You had to meet with a person?
Yeah, you meet with somebody beforehand, usually, unless it's, if you're going 125, that's different, but.
Is it a consigliere?
No, I don't know what it is. But they'll usually say, hey, just don't do this next time. You'll got a little bit of a probation period here for a year. If you don't have anything same or similar, we'll leave it off your record. You pay a court fee. And so I used to get a lot of speeding tickets when I was younger. I just didn't care for whatever reason.
Yeah, you got a lot of them.
Yeah, I haven't even been pulled over since 1999, but I used to get a lot. And so I remember once I went and I talked to the guy, and he's like, like I said, all right, just don't do it again in a year and you're good to go. And then I got another speeding ticket that same week, and I went in and I talked to the guy, and he's like, weren't you just here like 2 days ago? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I was. And he's like, all right, good news for you is we haven't inputted it in the system, so if you could please slow down, I'm not going to put this on your record, pay another court fine, and you're good to go.
Wow.
Court clerk, maybe that's it.
Oh.
I thought it was a different name. Magistrate, wrong country, probably.
There's a pissed off old lady in Ohio who has a good shot to beat her speeding ticket. She does. Says here now. She goes by the name of Joan Gibson. She recently got 2 tickets in the mail for doing 27 in a 20-mile-per-hour zone. The fine was $105. But the weird part is she wasn't driving. And there's proof. An automated traffic camera handed out the ticket, and the footage clearly shows that her car was hooked up to a tow truck when it happened. F me running. The truck driver was the one speeding, but the camera scanned Joan's plate and issued her the ticket instead. That's incredible. This happened in December. After her van broke down, she says she went to a nearby police department to show them the mistake, to show them the video, I guess. But they told her to contact a third-party vendor that operates the camera. Her local news just did a story. The president of her city council is trying to get the ticket expunged.
Doesn't it seem like it should just be an easy process where you'd be reasonable enough to go, oh, yeah, that's obviously hooked up to a tow truck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What a pain for this lady.
Seems like something that would happen to Larry David and Curb Your Enthusiasm.
So the news report, I mentioned the local news did a story on this lady. She wasn't even in her friggin' van. It was being towed. But yet, she got the speeding ticket.
What are they doing? I'm at the center getting this ticket and my car's on a flatbed. I'm not driving that truck. I don't want anything on my driving license. So far, I have a good record, and I'm going to try and keep it that way.
There she is. That's Joan. The news report is mostly about how the camera shouldn't have been there in the first place. The council recently voted to have it removed, but the tow truck story seems like the more obvious reason to waive the ticket. It should be easier than this sounds, like you just said, Josh. That's getting screwed right there. Mm-hmm. She wasn't even behind the wheel. As a matter of fact, no one was behind the wheel, and she still got a ticket dumped in her lap.
Or you hear about those folks who get a speeding ticket and they weren't driving their car. It was just the car was in their name. You know, maybe they let somebody use it, or they got a couple cars and their kid was driving or something. Has nothing to do with them. People are telling me overwhelmingly, thank you for the text. It was a hearing officer that you speak to. I thought I had a fancier name, but maybe that's it.
Oh, the old hearing officer. Do you remember the first time one of your friends said public pretender, and do you remember how hard you laughed?
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Although I think you used that term once in front of our criminal defense attorney friend Ryan Pasiga, and he said that there are a lot more than that. I remember he kind of got a little defensive about that.
He got a little defensive, but Ryan Pasiga's got a lot of growing up to do.
Oh, I think he's done that over the years. He has.
He's got a lot of growing up to do. Now, I got an interesting question for you. I hope there's some answers. If there isn't, I ain't going to be mad or anything. I still love you and everything. Are any of yous entitled to inherit anything really cool once both your folks take a dirt nap?
No.
Absolutely not.
Jigsaw puzzles, old twins bobbleheads.
Maybe some Afghans.
I said anything really cool.
Afghans. Oh my gosh, dude, we have a lot of Afghans. In the commune I grew up with, my aunt, grandma, and mom would knit an Afghan, or whatever, crochet an Afghan nightly as they'd watch the news. We had so many Afghans.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, no.
That happens. Here's something for you. Now, this gal I'm about to tell you about is 18 effing years old. So it's pretty odd for someone so young to be talking about what she's going to pass on to her grandchildren after she checks out, but let's just go ahead anyway. A gal called Paige Landau. I believe she's Canadian. And like I said, only 18 and life. You got it. She, what did she do now? She upped and got a toenail removed after repeated issues with an ingrown nail. But rather than throw the dead nail into the trash, she's decided to get the thing turned into a necklace and turn it into a, quote, family heirloom.
Ew.
Gross.
That's grody.
Oh, I see why it pays to go further into this story. This Paige gal with the rotten toenail, she made a phone call to another gal by the name of Amanda Booth. Amanda runs a jizz jewelry store, which specializes in turning semen into, quote, pearls. Okay, so she turns old jid into jewelry. So this Amanda gal the one who turns the semen into jewelry. She could obviously use all the attention she can get, so she went ahead and created a pendant featuring the old toenail. I'd love to say that the pendant looks really pretty and expensive, but it doesn't. It looks like something a 10th grader put together in art class, in my personal opinion.
Ashley, would you ever wear jewelry that was composed of semen?
No.
What if it was like a celebrity you're obsessed with?
No. No.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
Yep. That's
Couldn't any guy make his own
level.
pearl necklace out of something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Now back to this Paige gal who donated her dirty, fungus-ridden toenail. I'm worried about her. She said, I wanted to do something special with the nail since we've been together for 18 years and it felt wrong to just throw it away. I decided on a necklace as it would be a good family heirloom to pass down to my kids and grandkids when I die. Stupid. Amanda, she makes jewelry out of all kinds of things, not just spuzz. She makes jewelry out of breast milks, and this is the part that throws me. She makes jewelry out of remains. I'm not sure what they mean by remains.
I have that. Ashes, specifically.
Oh, is that what they mean by remains?
I would hope so.
I thought maybe
not
they
just
were
like a pinky finger hanging off your neck or something.
That didn't even cross my mind.
I was thinking body. I was thinking our eyes and nipples and perineums and things like that. You're talking about ashes. Well, then there you go. There you go.
Yeah, it's not a pretty necklace.
Nope. Not at all.
Not pretty at all. Imagine something like this here. Close your eyes. Imagine. Let's say you're in Tokyo, by God, Japan. You're out on the street. You're on your way into a massive sold-out stadium to see Mr. Big play one of their 11 farewell shows over there. You're feeling a little thirsty. You make your way over to a, how do you call it? You make your way over to a public water fountain on the street to wet your whistle. But before you get there, and you get a chance at some water, some dude anuses the water fountain. Did you hear what I said?
Yep.
Some dude anuses the water fountain. He anuses it. Now, a sold-out Mr. Big show had nothing to do with this. I was just effing around there, but this really did happen on the streets of Tokyo. The cops had to go ahead and arrest a 56-year-old man for putting his anus on a public water fountain. The anuser, he didn't fight or deny what he did. He told the cops that he did it, quote, to satisfy his sexual desire.
That makes it worse.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The city had to shut off the water supply to the fountain until they washed all the butthole off of it. And I guess it was so bad, now they plan on just smooth replacing it altogether.
That's a good call.
It gets creepier. Word is, earlier in the day, the anuser was just riding around town on his bicycle with his full-on lower body exposed for everyone to see, like Porky Pig riding a bicycle. This is my favorite part of the story. He used a set of binoculars to scope out the fountain from a distance before he put his dirty ass on it. He wanted to find the perfect spot. There he was in the bushes with his binoculars. No, that's not the right spot.
Wait till the coast is clear.
There it is. The fountain that I must anus.
I would think afterwards you'd probably want to keep an eye on that too to see who uses it. That might be part of it.
Yeah, that's part of the thrill. He took a picture of himself while he anused the water fountain. He did.
You got to have a memento for that big life event.
It's pretty disturbing, Cubby.
Yeah, it's gross. Like I said, the fact that he did it for sexual purposes makes it worse. If it's a prank, I don't know why. That just seems not as bad to me.
We no longer want water.
No.
Not from there.
For the first time in a long time on this radio program,
how do you get the butt off that?
Do not want.
You just throw some bleach. You got to bleach it, right?
A sponge, some Raid. Use a little Raid.
Maybe a light grit sandpaper.
Some Old Spice.
Oh.
Some lye.
Set it on fire, maybe. That helps.
A nuclear bomb.
Yeah, I guess you could do that.
Did you know you can get fire from ice? What movie? The Edge. Have any of you ever visited a place called Chechnya?
No.
Nope.
Not even on my list.
They call it here the Russian Republic of Chechnya. So, of course, it sounds nice. They come off like they're wound pretty tight over there and maybe a little confused. Authorities in Chechnya have upped and banned music that is too fast or too slow. They say all music must be summers between a tempo of 80 to 116 beats per minute. Nothing faster than the top end or slower than the low end. Are you following this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that pretty much eliminates most pop and techno songs, which is heartbreaking.
All EDM is pretty much out of the window.
I'm not sure what that means. And I would assume on the slower side of things, you won't be able to sit and sulk over an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend while pumping out a power ballad.
You could listen to Jamiroquai Cloud 9 at 115 BPM if you want to. Brooks and Dunn, Cowgirls Don't Cry. That one's safe. Celine Dion, I'm Alive. There's some bangers on here.
What is happening? You found a list of songs that fit under the and lower than the
Hella Good, No Doubt, 115 BPM. You're good there. Ooh, Cheap Trick, If You Want My Love. You can listen to that one in Chechnya.
If you want my love, you got it. I remember that one. So there you go. Artists in Chechnya have been given until June 1st to rewrite music that doesn't meet the criteria. And if the music isn't reworked, they won't be allowed to perform it in public. This place sounds like loads of fun.
Yeah, that's scary.
Any damn song from here on out has got to fit between 80 to 116 beats per minute. There are days where I feel lucky to be here. You know what I mean?
In America, I mean? Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Daily.
Yes.
This is a great reminder.
Fast songs? No. Slow songs? No. Mid-tempo songs? Yes. Yes. You can listen to a mid...
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
It is a Yukon coronation. The Huskies make history. Back-to-back national champions. Number one lives up to the billing. They defeat Purdue 75-60. They've done it again.
To me, it is more impressive than what Florida and Duke did because they brought back their entire teams, and we lost some major players.
I want to see a major player look across the soundboard from me right now. That's what a major player looks like. Old Cubby. Dan Hurley right there, the coach of the Connecticut men's college basketball team, who won the whole schmear again last night. They beat Purdue. I know a lot of guys who, when it comes time for bowl games in college football, when it comes time for the basketball tournaments, because they're University of Minnesota fans, they and the University of Minnesota clubs usually don't get involved in these big-time games. They're loyal to the Big Ten. Well, if Minnesota's not going to be there, I'll cheer for the Big Ten team.
Sure.
I'm absolutely not that guy. Absolutely not that guy. I hate all these other Big Ten clubs because of my loyalty to the University of Minnesota. Why should I root for them in big games? You know what I mean? I've always found that odd. I drink with a guy at the Wayzata Legion. He'll always hitch his wagon to, well, I want a Big Ten team to win it. Hell no, I don't want to. So I was happy to see this last night. I was happy to see Purdue get their ass kicked. That was my vibe on it. We'll get into this with Randy Shaver. Who else is popping by? Janel Klein.
Dick Bremer.
Dick Bremer probably doesn't give a rat's ass about this, but Dick will be joining us at 7:30, about a half hour. We'll talk about the Twins, who lost again last night to the Dodgers. They stayed in the ball game, but they lost 4-2. They still only generated 3 friggin' hits all night long. They'll play again tonight. There's plenty going on tonight, aside from the Twins and Dodgers. The second game of that series, 6:40 on Bally Sports North. Wolves and Wizards at home. Pigs are on the road at Colorado. See a little bit of Zacky Zach again tonight. Real quick, before we go, some text messages from our brilliant listening audience on a couple of the stories that we covered in the Stupid News. We talked about a lady who will take semen and turn it into jewelry. She will. She's not the only one. We've heard of nonsense like that before. Here's a gal who turns semen into jewelry. Craig Rosen's beard texted the show. You can always get a hold of us, 651-989-9393. Craig Rosen's beard said, semen jewelry, and here I've just been decorating my socks with it this whole time.
You've been wasting an art career.
Yeah.
We also talk about a Japanese guy who got arrested for putting his naked beehole on a public water fountain. It's terrible. One listener thinks that it's not a big deal, this listener says. He probably just lost his fantasy football league. We were talking about what you might need. Josh, I think, asked a question. What do you need to clean beehole off of a water fountain? We had all kinds of ideas. Raid and 409 and bleach and fire even. One listener reminded us that we need an old priest and a young priest. And one more text from retired Air Force Jesus, who said he lived in Japan for 3 years. Anusing a water fountain is not unheard of. He says, have you seen their animation?
Oh, yeah, some of it can be kind of disturbing. I got a buddy that likes that kind of stuff.
They're a little different when it comes to certain things out there in Japan. Yeah, is he referencing the octopus sex and all that?
I would think so.
But I've seen a little bit of that stuff, and yeah, they go a different route. They do. We'll take a break. Josh's News is next.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
It is the triple savings spring sale at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Install a new furnace and AC combo and save up to $3,000 with manufacturer and utility rebates along with Standard Heating's discount. That's a trifecta. Visit standardheating.com.
The countdown is on for the 2024 NFL Draft, presented by Bud Light, live from Detroit, and you can attend in person for free.
Welcome to the NFL Draft.
See the next NFL stars and experience the ultimate NFL fan festival, featuring live concerts, interactive games, player autographs, and more. The NFL Draft, presented by Bud Light, April 25th through 27th. Visit NFL.com/draft access to register for free entry today.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
Hug your babies, and if you see something, say something, because even though it might not be affecting you, it might save somebody else.
A social media trend known as the Fireball Challenge has
here we go.
led to numerous children being hospitalized after barbecuing themselves. Apparently, the goal is to try and create a fireball using an aerosol can or rubbing alcohol and filming their reactions for TikTok.
It looks like he put the rubbing alcohol in his left hand and then lit it with his right, not realizing how quickly rubbing alcohol burns off.
In one case, 12-year-old Corey Roper accidentally set himself on fire while attempting the challenge, sustaining second and third-degree burns to about half his body.
I wake up to just a blood-curdling scream. I just see my son on fire, and I flooded my kitchen because I took the hose and just sprayed him down as quickly as I could.
How in the hell can this be real life?
I don't know. And apparently it's quite a problem. A lot of kids are trying it. Corey was in a coma for 2 weeks. He had to relearn how to walk. More stories like Corey's continues to surface. In fact, since 2021, when the social media trend first began, numerous kids from across the country were seriously burned by the challenge, like 12-year-old Nick Howell, who suffered burns to 35% of his body. Howell, who spent almost 6 months in and out of the hospital and underwent 50 surgeries, urged others not to follow social media challenges.
Can you even effing believe it? That is, that is so friggin' terrible.
It's okay to pass on some of these,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Maybe do the cinnamon challenge.
Yeah, I'm going to try it.
Start yourself on fire challenge.
F me.
A bus driver at a private school in Fort Pierce, Florida, has been fired after several parents said he stopped a bus full of students on some train tracks as a freight train was approaching.
We had one student that we were talking to. She had headphones in, and she looked around when everyone was screaming to get the bus driver to move, and she seen the train coming. She put the headphones back in, and she put her head down expecting to die.
At that point, a lot of us were expecting to die.
Ninth grade student Madison Corey said the bus driver stopped the younger kids to drop them off at Synergy Magnet's K through 12 campus last Monday morning, and was heading to the older students' campus when the driver suddenly stopped on the tracks for some reason. At the time, the sound of the crossing arms can be heard coming down. Shortly afterward in the video, the bus abruptly stops and the crossing arm hits the top of the bus, and students start screaming for the driver to move.
We kept saying that there was a train that we need to move.
The driver...
He's just messing with the kids?
They're not sure what exactly happened. Well, I think they have an idea, but they haven't said exactly what happened.
He got a hell of a sense of humor, this guy.
The driver yelled at the students to be quiet.
Oh! Quiet!
Didn't like the yelling.
Oh.
Then, after a terrifying 20 seconds, he finally drove the bus off the tracks. School officials said the bus driver was let go after a 48-hour internal investigation, but they also said they don't believe the incident was intentional.
Dude, what's going on?
No more
Sounds
details
like
on
it.
that.
That's scary.
What the hell is going on now?
I don't know. I'd love more details on
Oh, they're just, wow, we're going to die. Everybody shut up and try to drive the bus over here.
It's just a freight train coming right at us. A stranger stabbed another passenger in the head with a screwdriver on board a Bronx bus.
God dang.
When he flew into a rage because the victim was playing drums on his lap. The victim, a 60-year-old guy, was tapping on his own legs while riding the bus about 2:10 p.m. yesterday. Well, that ticked off another man on board the bus who suddenly, out of nowhere, stabbed him in the head with a screwdriver without warning.
I was standing in the front of the store, and there was people coming out of the bus and people screaming, saying like someone got stabbed. I went inside of the bus, and I see that he was bleeding. I came down to the store, grabbed some paper to bring them out, and they're just telling me that a guy with a screwdriver stabbed the guy in the head.
The injured man was taken to a hospital. He's going to be okay.
Oh, no. He's drumming on his legs, and somebody didn't like that very much.
Yeah, and it sounded like the dude didn't even say anything ahead of time.
Oh,
Like, I don't like that tune. Change it up. But now I just stabbed him with a screwdriver.
Yeah, always got to make sure you got your screwdriver on you.
A woman checked out of a Florida hotel and told staff she was going on a God-directed shooting spree because of the solar eclipse yesterday.
Oh.
The 22-year-old Georgia woman entered the highway at about 115 miles from the Alabama border in the Florida Panhandle and then headed west. Within only 5 miles, she fired into a passing car several times, spraying glass and grazing the driver in the arm. She then fired at a second vehicle where the driver got it much worse. They were hit in the neck. Troopers stopped the woman after about 16 miles and found her with a rifle and a handgun. The victims are expected to recover.
You knew there was going to be at least one wacko that wouldn't be able to handle the eclipse, right?
Yeah, that's the one that's been written about the most, yeah. God told her.
God told her.
Eclipse. Take someone out. A United Airlines flight bound for Seattle had to divert to Dallas Friday because of some powerful turbulence. Typically, it's parts falling off or people going off, which turns planes around in the 2020s. But in this case, it was a dog with tummy issues. A Redditor blamed dog poop for the diversion of his flight from Houston, attaching a photo of the messy missive on the social media platform. The Reddit post Sunday read, "The smell never quite went away, and it made me ill."
You want to bring your pets on the plane, that's fine. And I know that accidents do happen. Maybe if you're going to bring an animal, let it go to the bathroom before you get on the flight.
You're an animal.
Yeah, he is. United Airlines later confirmed the incident.
I brought a dog on an airplane once, and I was worried that he would take a poop, but he didn't take a poop.
Oh, I'd be so worried.
Lots and lots of pee, though.
Oh.
He pretty much urinated the entire trip.
Oh.
I'm kidding. He was fine. He was unconscious. I loaded him up on Xanax and tall Coors Lights at the airport bar. He slept the whole time. Yeah.
Just picture a dog sitting in the bar stool at the airport.
That was by far the only time an animal pooping aboard a plane has caused problems. Just this past February, a dog who got out of its crate on a United Airlines flight pooped on the plane, and people on board were said to be sickened by the smell. In fact, it was supposedly bad enough that flight attendants were seen wearing hazmat-type suits as they eventually cleaned the mess.
No way.
That dog was walking proud, I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Michigan State Police are urging residents to not touch bombs. The warning comes after an incident Friday when a man reportedly entered the Michigan State Police Lansing post with a grenade he wanted to dispose of. Police said he had the grenade for many years, forgot about it, and then found it while cleaning the home. The building was evacuated, and the grenade was left at the front desk for the Michigan State Police bomb squad to handle. Police said a member of the bomb squad determined the grenade was inert and removed it from the building. Police are urging residents who come across an object they believe could explode not to pick it up.
Don't touch bombs.
Yeah, they don't want you to move it. They don't want you to bring it to law enforcement, but call 911.
The bomb squad will come to you. You don't need to go to the bomb squad.
Yeah, but I'm a bomb toucher. That's what I like to do. I'm a bomb toucher.
God told me to do it.
A New Jersey man was arrested for robbing Facebook marketplace buyers who responded to his ads for video game consoles after he allegedly hit one of the victims with his car. 18-year-old Yasin Rahi was charged with a litany of crimes for the March 20th hit and run, which left a 22-year-old with serious bodily injury, police said. The young con man met the victim at a prearranged meetup spot about 5 p.m. that day. But instead of handing over the PS5 he advertised on Facebook, he took about $275 from the victim and sped off, hitting the hapless buyer in the process.
That wasn't part of the agreement?
Didn't sound that way. When the prosecutor's office investigated, they found a string of similar incidents in northern New Jersey in which a fake seller using fictitious Facebook accounts would lure PlayStation buyers to a specific area, then steal their cash. County investigators identified Rahi as their alleged thief. A police spokesperson said while various online platforms offer a convenient way to buy and sell property, they also present opportunities for exploitation by dishonest individuals. He advised people to always meet in public, well-lit areas, and never meet a stranger alone.
Well, how about bring a bomb?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to touch those.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
I guess if you're buying a bomb, you got to get it home somehow. St. Paul police are investigating an incident that they say left a man injured late yesterday morning near the Capitol, so please keep this man in your thoughts. Officers were called to the 500 block of Rice Street for a reported fight just before 11 a.m. Officials said during that fight, a man was injured when he hurt his finger pulling his gun, which then discharged.
Man, who the hell is getting in a gunfight before noon?
No word on what led up to the fight. Thoughts and prayers to this gentleman. It's awful. He pulled his gun out and jammed a finger.
Yeah, that can happen. I've jammed fingers before. I'll tell you the stories.
Once relied upon as hushed oases of learning, American libraries are now under siege, with staffers nationwide complaining of rampant disorder, including public sex and drug use.
It is something that the library has been facing for several years now, especially after pandemic.
It is weird how many stories keep popping up. Veteran Iowa librarian Jennifer Golden cataloged a string of troubling incidents, including patrons masturbating to pornography
at computer
terminals within feet of children, and threatening her with violence after she rebuffed their advances.
The library is, the living room of our communities, right? It's one of the last places that people can go that are free and that are welcoming to them.
A branch in Antioch, California, abruptly shuttered in February after employees complained of consistent sex inside and outside the branch, drug use, and violence. The location only reopened after employing an armed security guard who checked all patrons prior to entry. Desperate librarians in Long Beach, California issued so many pleas for help, local politicians passed a law permitting the suspension of disruptive attendees. Their complaints ran the gamut, from unclothed patrons sleeping inside the location to fistfights in the stacks. Florida authorities reported in February 27-year-old Christian Stark filmed at least 4 children inside a Tampa library bathroom. He even recorded himself masturbating at the branch. A Nashville library was locked down last August when gunfire erupted inside the facility during a fight between juveniles, leaving 3 people injured. Librarians are also having to manage brazen drug use inside their places of work. Some complain of open marijuana use, while a Boulder, Colorado location had to shutter for more than a year because meth residue was found in the restrooms. And a study by the San Diego Union Tribune found police are called to the city's main branch roughly once a day. Last year, a man was killed there.
Jeez, I've been asked to leave a couple places my day, but never the library.
I enjoy the library.
I do too.
But I always do glance over to the computer terminals to see who's masturbating.
Oh, duh. Yeah, that's the first thing you do when you walk into a library.
All right, I'm going to go get some books, but first, quick masturbation check over there. All right, looks like we're good. All right, cool.
I know 2 librarians, Cubby, I do. And I know one guy who drives the light rail. So it just dawned on me that I have 3 friends, maybe this was on purpose, 3 friends who work in an industry where a lot of people beat off in public.
It does seem like those stories pop up around those professions, doesn't it?
2 librarians and 1 light rail driver. They see a lot of public masturbation, and I guess I've always been too selfish or not attentive enough to ask them about it.
A Kentucky man's pleaded guilty in federal court to faking his own death in order to avoid paying child support. 38-year-old Jesse Kipp confessed to stealing the identity of a doctor living in another state and using their credentials to access the Hawaii Death Registry system.
The Hawaii Death Registry system?
Yes. He then created a case for his own death and certified it as the physician whose credentials he stole.
He was initially charged with multiple counts of computer fraud and identity theft, but many of those were dropped in the plea deal. Now he owes more than $200,000 to various agencies.
Investigators seized 9 storage drives, a laptop, and multiple cell phones from Kipp, as well as $16,218 worth of gold and silver coins.
That's not right.
No, he's going to owe over $500,000 based on the court fees, fines, and criminal charges.
I'm one of those guys that fights the system, Josh. You know that.
I know.
You do. And the system I'm referring to is the Hawaiian Death Registry system.
We all do. Now,
daily, I battle with them. Daily.
Now streaming on Netflix, the stand-up special, Neil Brennan, Crazy Good. Jordan McLaughlin of the Minnesota Timberwolves turns 28 today.
Hey, they call him J-Mac.
Kristen Stewart, 34.
They call her K-Stew.
Dennis Quaid, 70.
They call him Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis, Mr. Quaid. Shout out to the Bloomington Chorale, who will be singing the national anthem tonight at the Twins game. Tenor Jesus said he'll be the guy in the center front with the biggest smile in the world.
Nice. The Bloomington Chorale?
They'll be singing the...
do you know what that means? What does that mean?
Well, it's like a chorus.
Oh. I thought it had something to do with horseback riding or something.
Well, I had to look up the pronunciation, Chorale, and it said chorale.
Huh.
Shout out to Big Miller Jesus moving back to Minnesota next month, and that's 93X News.
Minnesota Twins interview on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The one constant for the past 40 seasons for Twins fans was the friendly voice who showed up every day, every summer, at your house, cabin, and place of work, bringing you Twins baseball. Dick Bremer was that friend, that family member that no matter what happened during your day, he was there when you got home, describing this game we all love.
Puckett drives it to center. Wilson going back. It's deep. It's deep. It's gone.
Dick, you've congratulated countless Twins on their accomplishments. Today is our opportunity here at Target Field, and many more watching at home, to symbolically shake your hand in appreciation for what you have meant to Twins baseball.
Oh, man. Here we go. Here's the day of the week when the Half-Assed Morning Show moves into an entirely different tax bracket. Joining us at this time, the beautiful people. Randy Shaver. Good morning, Randy.
That's all because of Janel.
Stop
Without a doubt.
Whatever.
Janelle is
Money
a
bag.
stone fox.
As I roll out of bed, hair's still sticking up.
You look great. And, of course, the brutally handsome Dick Bremer. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Hello, Dick.
Good morning.
Well, what's going on, man? We were playing some audio from your big appearance last Thursday. It must have been a beautiful thing.
It was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful day, and I can't thank the Twins enough for everything they did to make that a really special day, not only for me, but for my family as well.
Absolutely.
And you had a nice first pitch there. A lot of people were talking about that.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Really good.
Well, I've had people ask me, what I threw, what pitch I threw. Like there are options at age 68, right? I tell people it was a two-seam sinking fastball, but the sink was caused by gravity more than any spin rate or anything like that.
Well, it looked good.
Absolutely. Well, are you? When we talked to you a couple weeks ago, you were telling us about some old timers league you signed up for. When does that kick in again?
The games start in early June, and then they go through September. I think there's even some playoffs towards the end of the summer. So it'll be fun. It'll be interesting, but it'll be fun.
You got to make sure you send us a schedule.
I'm afraid if I do that, people are going to show up.
Well, I mean, I got to see this. I mean, you don't mind having a cheering section, do you?
No, that'd be fine. We'll make sure that you get a schedule, and Wednesday nights and Sunday afternoons. They're double headers, a lot of them on Sunday afternoon. So if I were anyone who would want to show up, I'd come to the first game, because I'm not sure the second game of a double header with a bunch of guys in their 60s is going to be fun to watch. So.
Well, the good news is we like to get awful drunk on Sundays.
Okay, you may need to do that.
That sounds like a blast. So I mean, yeah, you're getting warmed up already. You know, you're probably doing some squats and lat pulls. You're probably getting your body tuned up for such a thing, I would imagine, right?
What do they call a squat if you only get the first half done? Is that still a squat if you don't come back up?
I guess it's more like a crouch.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
You've been crouching. Well, Dick Bremer, thank you for joining us every Tuesday. Dick joins the Half-Assed Morning Show, talk a little Twins baseball. Here's hoping that once the weather warms up a bit, so will the bats in the Twins lineup. Same as last year.
Yeah, they're off to a very poor start. The one encouragement last night, now it's trying very hard to try to see a silver lining out of what happened last night. They only got 3 hits, but they only struck out 7 times. Oh. And they got some guys who are going through a case of, I call it Gallo-itis, in honor of Joey Gallo.
There you go.
Striking out at least half the time. And that's not good. So they did cut back on the number of strikeouts last night. The Dodger team's really good, right? They're supposed to win more than 100 games, and then you never know in the playoffs, but they've got all that talent, and they're the heavy favorite to win the World Series this year. So this isn't a good team to play when you're not swinging the bats.
No. You're exactly right about that. The boys, I mean, they stayed in the ball game last night, but they only piled up 3 hits. Show high.
And got their 2 runs. Got their 2 runs and a Margot home run, and then didn't get. I don't think they got a hit after that in the 3rd inning. So, yeah, it's not fun to watch when you spend all that time, or participate in, I'm sure, spend all that time in spring training, and you come out and you got guys. It's not the swinging strikeouts that I think bother the fans so much. It's so many called third strikes.
Yeah.
If you played any baseball at all, even your youngest, your coaches at your youngest age would tell you, hey, swing the bat. You know, if you swing and miss, at least you gave yourself a chance. But to stand in the box and take so many called third strikes, that's not fun to watch.
It's frustrating. You know, it's last week when we had Dick Bremer on, we were talking a little bit about Brad Radke, about how Brad Radke had a habit, or whatever you want to call it, of starting rough. He would get knocked around a little bit in the first inning and then settle in. That's kind of what Bailey Ober put together last night. So what did everyone think of Rocco's move last night, where he pulls Bailey Ober 68 pitches in after he had seemed to hit his groove?
Well, yeah, I mean, he had a very rough start again, not as rough as the one in Kansas City, but it looked like he was rolling pretty good. But they had their big left-handed batters coming up, and
right.
The Twins bullpen had been doing up to the ball game last night, doing a really good job. So they went to the bullpen, but Okert gave up a little couple of flare hits and all that, and before you knew it, the game was tied. And then, a couple of home runs later, you find yourself behind at a time when you're not swinging the bats well, and you give back the lead like that, and it's kind of hard to get the momentum turned back in your direction.
Randy Shaver, I was kind of hollering at the TV.
I'm sure you were. It's disappointing that the Twins are struggling with the bats right now. You've got, Buxton back in the lineup, who's, obviously one of their better players. You've got Correa, who has gotten off to a good start this spring. But everybody else around them is just struggling. Jeffers strikes out twice last night. He's batting under 100. Santana's off to a slow start. I mean, these are guys they were counting on. So
Carlos looked pissed last night a couple times. Like he's wearing it. He's showing it.
He's showing it, and but it's early. I mean, you're 8 games into the season, and it's a long way to go. It's not even been 65 degrees yet, so I mean, I think you got to have some patience. Obviously, this team is better than what we've seen so far, and I think they're going to show better once they kind of figure some things out. So I'm not concerned about them.
How about the catch by Buck in center field?
Yes.
What was that?
Thank God he got up and he wasn't hurt.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's what everybody thinks when he goes after a baseball like that is just get up and be okay.
Just kind of close your eyes and just cross your fingers.
He was pumped. And he saved that lefty, Okert. He saved that lefty from having a terrible inning with that catch. And that was another one of those where you just can't believe it can be done that way.
What I enjoyed as much as the catch was the shot they had of Byron out in center field, and he was smiling. And I kept it doesn't sound like much, right? But I don't think I saw him smile at all last year. I mean, he physically wasn't feeling well. His legs were killing him. He was still doing what he could. But to be out there in center field and do what maybe only he can do, and as he said, it was like he was in Little League again. And the first time he ever dove for a ball and caught it, it had been that long for him. And I just really enjoyed seeing his expression on his face, like, all right, I'm back.
I agree. So, you had the biggest star in baseball in town last night, Shohei Ohtani. He got the dong out, and he had a couple of doubles. But I was wondering what you guys made of this now, what you might make of this if you haven't heard it yet. So he said in an interview, that he's been using a cricket-style bat for mechanical work before and during games. It sounds like he's swinging a cricket racket or bat or whatever it's called in the sport. So I'm wondering, do you think all across Little Leagues this summer we're going to see 6th graders swinging a cricket bat to warm up because that's how Shohei does it? You know what I mean?
I don't know about that.
I mean, when
baseball is a game of imitation. So if it works for him, I suspect somebody else will try it.
Oh, I bet you will. I mean, we all tried to emulate our favorite players, right? So I imagine you'll probably see some little kids horsing around with cricket bats at the Little League games. I mean, I remember when I was a 10-year-old, I mean, one of the most popular athletes in town when I was 10 years old was Dino Ciccarelli. And Dino Ciccarelli tucked his jersey into the back of his breezers. As soon as Dino became a star in this town, every kid on my hockey team, including myself, tucked their jersey in. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
Yeah, I just remembered back in middle school basketball in the late 90s, everybody wore high socks because of Bobby Jackson at the Gophers.
Oh!
Nick, you started drinking because of Wade Boggs.
That's right. I was bringing, he ain't lying, I was bringing coolers of Miller Lite to my Little League games because Wade Boggs did it. And don't see now. Someone said Bobby Jackson. Now I'm going to get all emotional.
Oh yeah.
So the Twins have lost.
Well, there was a reason Bobby Jackson wore his socks high. Clem Haskins didn't allow tattoos on his team. This is how long ago it was, right? Or a different culture. No tattoos on the team. Well, Bobby had some down around his ankles, so that's why he wore his socks high.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't know if I ever heard that story either. Nowadays, Clem would be a busy guy.
Gosh, no kidding.
You need to
would
wear a
have to
bodysuit.
loosen up the reins a little bit.
Clem didn't allow tattoos. I don't know if I ever heard that story. I love that guy. I really did.
There's nothing better than Clem stripping the jacket off when he was pissed on the sidelines. Those are some of the greatest images of all those old coaches that were patrolling the sidelines back in the day. It was just, it was so entertaining just to watch those guys.
Got me on my
And
feet
back
every
then,
time.
back then the coaches were half of the show in the Big Ten.
kidding.
You had Knight, you had Katie, Henson, all those guys. They were part of the attraction of going to a game.
Yeah, it was just
Each of them was more nuts than the next.
Yeah, that's true.
Really, honestly. So the Twins have lost 3 straight with a total of 12 hits in those 3 games. Okay, up next tonight, 6:40 on Bally Sports North, Tyler Glasnow goes for the Dodgers. Louis Varland for the Twins. Now, here's the bad news. We talked about this yesterday, Dick Bremer. We were all kind of hoping that maybe we'd see Louis Varland pitch in the same game as his brother Gus, but the Dodgers sent him down to AAA. So we won't have that option.
It's a really Gus is I forget now. I think Gus is a little older than Louis, but Louis got to the big leagues first, I believe, is how that worked out. That would have been cool to see 2 local guys. I don't know what you do if you're a parent, right? I mean, if Gus is a reliever, Louis is a starter, and it could have been a nice matchup where Louis was starting and Gus might have pitched later in the ball game. Maybe one of them got a win, one of them got a loss. That would have been kind of fun for the family, I would think.
Yeah,
He was here in town, though. He was here with the team. They took some pictures and some stuff yesterday, and then they sent him down.
And that must have been a real bummer because Louis Varland said, at least he made a comment saying, that a lot of family are coming to the games, and now, I mean, sure, they're there to cheer on Louis, but I'm sure they wanted to see the both of them. And Randy Shaver, you mentioned yesterday that we did get to see at Target Field. We did get to see Taylor and is it Tyler?
Tyler, yep, the Rogers.
We saw them pitch in the same game, right, Dick?
We did.
Yeah, what I remember about that is towards the end of the regular season, I forget which one it was, and one thing I used to do, and something I'm really going to miss, is once a homestand, I would just, half hour before game time, I'd get out of the booth and just walk around the concourse all the way around, and it was really wonderful for me to see the excitement of the little kids and maybe some seniors, how excited they were to be at the ballpark. So I would do that once a homestand. So I did that once late in September, and I walked by Tyler, and in street clothes, of course, because he was done with the Giants or whoever he was. Or I don't even think he'd gotten to the big leagues yet.
Right.
And I thought, now why is Taylor walking around in street clothes 25 minutes before a game? And I said hi to him, and of course, Tyler had never met me. He may have known what I did for a living, but I said, hey, how are you? And walked right by him, and then it occurred to me about 5 steps later, no, wait a minute, that's his twin brother. They are identical twins until they pick up a baseball.
It's insane, really. I am a twin, but my brother and I look nothing alike, unfortunate for him. Did everyone have that set of twins in your school where they could get away with stuff like that, where you really couldn't tell there was a lot of twins at my house. I don't know what the hell was in the water, but we had a massive amount of twins at my school. There was one set of brothers. All of them, you could tell them apart, with the exception of one set of brothers, were so identical, like Taylor and Tyler Rogers, where all the way through school, I could make the mistake of calling them by the wrong name.
We had about 150 kids in my class, 4 sets of twins, 3 of them identical.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell was going on in my neighborhood. It was just piles of them. Now, we were talking a little bit about brothers playing in the big leagues, and then a dirty joke got told, and we kind of lost our minds. Please, no one repeat that joke while Dick and Janel are here.
We have too much.
We've got classy company.
Too much respect.
Dick and Janel are here. No one. But what brother combinations come to mind? Now that we're talking about Gus and Louis Varland and the Rogers, what other big league brother combinations?
The Alous.
Okay, Moises and Felipe.
Matty Alou and Felipe Alou.
Oh, were there 3 of them?
Yeah, weren't there, Dick? 3. Matty Alou,
Yep.
For the Pirates.
Jesus
Alou.
and Philippe.
And then they had
a son. Moises was the son.
Moises was the son. Yes,
right.
What else? Who else?
The Ripkins.
All three of the Alous, by the way, were in the same outfield for the Giants at one point.
Jesus, that must have been insane. Like the Stastny brothers playing for the Quebec Nordiques back in the
right.
The Sedin brothers. Ooh.
Sure, but back to baseball. Dana, you said the Ripkins, Billy and Cal, but not Billy. Was it Billy?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. What was
Billy Ripken. Yeah.
What was the old man's name?
Cal Senior.
That's right. There were two Cals. How about Pedro and Ramon Martinez?
Right.
The Necros.
Yep.
I always felt bad for Tommy Aaron, Hank's younger brother.
Oh, no.
Because how'd you like to be in the big league? Whatever you do, right? Whatever you do on the field is going to pale in comparison to your big brother.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, yesterday was the 50th anniversary of Hank hitting home run number 715. Lots of stuff on social media yesterday, including the home run and all the aftermath and that kind of stuff. It was pretty cool.
People are texting in their favorite brother combinations in Major League Baseball. I had it right here in front of me. The Molinas.
Yeah.
Yeah, three of them. Made all of them catchers, yeah.
Gaylord and Jim Perry.
Mm-hmm.
My damn. I didn't know George Brett had a brother that played in the big leagues.
Played briefly for the Twins.
What?
Yeah, he's a pitcher.
I did not know. What was his first name?
Ken?
Ken.
Oh, yeah. Ken Brett.
Yep.
I don't know that. Oh, the Alomars.
And the Twins had Joe Niekro, brother of Phil Niekro, both knuckleballers. And I asked Joe once, what it was like playing catch in the backyard with his big brother, and he laughed and said, "Well, we had a hard time throwing knuckleballs to each other, continuing any game of catch because the ball was wobbling all over the place. You'd have to run back to the fence and pick it up, then throw it back to your brother."
Roberto and Sandy Alomar, all the Giambis, my damn.
The Barbers.
Barber?
Cansecos?
Oh, the Cansecos. Who's Barber?
Rondé and Tiki.
Oh, no, we're talking baseball.
Yeah. I thought I was going to
Dick Bremer, he's an ambassador for the Minnesota Twins. It's a baseball.
When I was growing up, the Caniglieros were a couple of brothers that were guys that
Tony and Billy, yep.
Tony and Billy.
God, that's great. All right, so more injuries for the Twins. Another reliever on the injured list, Daniel Duarte. Jose Miranda comes up. It's nice to see him up here again.
Yeah, he got the start at third base, which was interesting because that was, to me, a pretty strong indication that his shoulder is doing well. I had a chance to run into Jose when I was down in Fort Myers at the fantasy camp, and he said things were really feeling good, and he was looking forward to coming back. And it's interesting how players are evaluated regardless of whether they're hurt or not. And, Correa had a disappointing year last year because he was hurt. Buxton was hurt. Miranda has been, a pretty productive hitter when he's been healthy. And right now it looks like he's healthy. And if he weren't, he wouldn't have been playing third base last night.
Mm-hmm. I still have high hopes for that kid. Okay. A lot of injuries for the Twins on the pitching staff. So last week, the rash of pitching injuries was blamed on just the velocity that these guys have to throw to stay competitive these days. The latest is the shortened pitch clock.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a lot of pitchers that are coming out and saying that's the reason why.
That's who the players rep, Tony Clark. That's what the players rep, Tony Clark, is blaming the shortened pitch clock. What is it, down a second or two now with a runner on base? Is that how it's working?
It's 2 seconds, I believe, from 20 to 18.
All right. So that's the latest. That's where the blame is being put now, the shortened pitch clock.
And MLB responded refuting the claim, saying they've done research on it, and the players who have gotten hurt, they're no higher percentage than, before the pitch clock came in and the shortened pitch clock and all that. I don't know what answer is right. But to me, and we've talked about this before, I'm still not convinced the human body was meant to throw a baseball 95 miles per hour.
Yeah. It's the chasing of the velocity that really is, I think, The discussion that I've heard, and I watched MLB Network yesterday morning, and there was a couple of different discussions about this. One of them was with Joe Madden, the former manager, and he is convinced that the chasing of the velocity is really the reason why we're seeing these kind of injuries that we're seeing right now. And it's like, you know, you're not going to change the philosophy of what Major League Baseball is trying to do right now. The only way you make it feels like or seems like to the big leagues is you're throwing 100 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You're throwing 99. You're throwing 98. That's really the prerequisite to getting into the major leagues.
Are we going to see an arm come off? Are we going to?
So that's
it's chasing velocity, but also spin rate. You know, we've heard so much about the sweeper. You know, the pitch last year that became in vogue. If it's a new pitch, and I trust people who say that it is, you're asking your arm, right or left, to do something that is unnatural in terms of, you know, with this grip, trying to get as much rotation on the ball as you can. There was a long time in the Twins organization, they discouraged their minor league pitchers from throwing the split finger pitch because they figured it was detrimental to the health of their arm. Well, now the attitude seems to be, look, you know, go ahead and do this, and if you get hurt, we'll find somebody else, and you'll be off the field for a year and a half, whatever. And It's just so common now, and you know, the team, the organization that figures out how to compromise, I think, in terms of, because you got to throw hard right now. Hitters are used to 95, and if you only throw 90, it's going to be like, you know, slow pitch softball to them.
Right. Oh, man. Our listeners are texting in more family combinations. Logan and Jake Paul, the Dom triplets. Come on.
There's the Property Brothers, the Smothers Brothers.
The Property Brothers. I love the Smothers Brothers. Which one of them? We lost one of them not that long ago, didn't we?
Tommy just died a couple months ago, yeah.
God dang it. When I was a kid, they used to... the solar eclipse was a hell of a pregame show for the Guardians home opener yesterday. 2 hours before the game, the players from both teams, the Guardians and White Sox, sprawled out on the ball field to watch it happen while wearing their special solar viewing glasses, and fans were pouring in early to get a good look at the solar eclipse. Some pretty cool pictures, I guess. If they cranked up Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. It was a whole show. Did you get involved in that yesterday, Dick Bremer?
I was driving around, and of course here in Minnesota, it was cloudy, and it was noticeably darker, I guess, as I was driving around during the eclipse, and then it just suddenly got brighter again. That was the extent of it up here. We had, the last time there was a solar eclipse, 2017, and we were on the field in Chicago, and that was a unique thing at the Chicago ballpark, late afternoon. I think it was mid-afternoon maybe. And it got darker, and the cicadas or whatever you call them, they were chirping as if it was, sunset and all that. So that's the closest I've come to really experiencing an eclipse.
Was there a very brief crime spree in Chicago when the eclipse happened?
There is no such thing as a brief crime spree in Chicago.
The best text we received yesterday on the eclipse was a listener who said last time around in 2017, his cows were very confused.
Right.
He said they fell asleep for about 4 minutes and then thought, wait a minute, what happened? Why is the sun up?
Turn the lights back on.
Oh, man. I did read a funny quote from a White Sox pitcher who was there in Cleveland, of course. And Ohio got the best look at it, according to what I'm reading. So this White Sox pitcher by the name of Eric Fedde, F-E-D-D-E, he's brand new to me. Eric Fedde, I'm going to go with. He said, space is cool. And then he went on to say, people in our hotel are here just for the eclipse, which is kind of cool. I guess we'll call them space groupies. They had space groupies at the hotel just to come to town and see that happen.
A lot of people traveled all over the country to see this. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a hell of a deal.
Wasn't just in Ohio.
No. But Ohio, that's what I read. They had the best look at the damn thing.
Yeah, everybody. There was along the path of the eclipse, there was people just everywhere.
All right, Dick Bremer, I'll tell you what. If the Twins need the 5-6 of us to go out there and start swinging the bats, you tell them that we're in.
Well, let's hope it gets better quickly. They've got tonight and tomorrow against the Dodgers, and then they go take on probably the one team in the division that's best positioned right now, at least, to challenge them for a division title. They got 4 games in Detroit, so the hope is they'll get things figured out. And fans have noticed it too. All it takes is one game, and guys, somebody, breaks a bat, dumps a 2-run double down the right field line, and everybody just kind of relaxes a little bit. This team is going to hit, and let's hope it starts. Let's hope it starts tonight.
We're right there with you, Dick Bremer, and as usual, we appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you in 1 week.
You got it.
Thank you very much, Dick. Tuesday mornings, that's when Dick Bremer joins our program. You want to hear one? Well, it doesn't have to be the final, but you tell me. An eclipse joke?
Sure.
Learn from Lesbians, Jesus. Yesterday, he said, my boy asked me if I could explain how an eclipse works, and I looked at him, I said, no, son. That's a dick move, learn from Lesbians, Jesus, to set me up like that.
That's good. That is a dad joke.
Making me look like a damn jackass in front of Janelle.
Janelle enjoyed it.
I love dad jokes.
Randy Shaver.
Yeah.
I know you and Brad Ryder.
That's me. Present.
I know you and Brad Ryder are more partial to the referees being the stars of big-time college basketball games, but you got to admit that Connecticut is a pretty damn solid ball club.
They are a very, 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 very good team. And
they whooped
well
Purdue.
Balanced, and you have to give them a lot of credit because they won the title last year, kind of like they lost a whole bunch of players.
Yeah.
I mean, a whole bunch of players drafted, left, whatever. They retooled. The guys that were on the bench or were support players last year became the starters, and you got to give them a lot of credit. That Hurley guy is such a good coach. He's just amazingly good. And Purdue's very, very good. You got to give them credit. They just never got over the hump last night. They just never really got themselves back in the game. They would get close, and then Connecticut would go on a little run.
Well, just like the Iowegians and Caitlin Clark, Purdue had the most dominant player in the country, but South Carolina, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Iowegians had Caitlin Clark, but South Carolina was a better team. Last night, Purdue's got the big Zach Edey, but by a landslide, Connecticut's the better team.
Well, I wouldn't say by a landslide, but I would say that they were.
Well, they won the title game by 15 points.
Yeah, but agreed. But I wouldn't say by a landslide. I think they just they did what they've done to every team along the way. They just outplayed them in so many different areas, and their bench was so much better than the opposing team's bench.
I think when you beat everyone, their average margin of victory was 23 points.
Yeah.
That's just an ass whooping.
Yeah, super talented.
They're the first school to go back-to-back since Florida, which was, 16, 17 years ago. See,
I will say this, though. The highlight of the game was Wazetta's own Cam Heide. That was one hell of a dunk last night. Good Lord.
And you know what? That
kid can get off the floor.
That should have been a big spark for the club. I thought that was going to be a moment where, okay, things turn around, but
it didn't.
They had a couple bad possessions after that. And wow, that was, he shot up in the air like he had a rocket in his pants or something.
It was a one-handed dunk, and his head was above the rim. I mean, good Lord.
He crushed it. Purdue was the second best three-point shooting team in the country. They didn't look like it at all last night. Did they make one three-pointer on the night?
I don't have the stats right in front of me. I'm looking right now. Yeah, they were 1 for 7.
Good Lord.
Well, they only took 7, so that tells you a little bit about the game last night.
The defense from Connecticut was shutting them down. Yeah. Tristan Newton won the tournament's most outstanding player. Edey had 37 points. That's the most points scored in a losing effort in a national championship game. He just didn't have any help.
Yeah. Offensively, Purdue was not very good. besides him. Yeah.
So the big question is, can Connecticut do it again? The only team to three-peat ever is UCLA. They won 7 straight in the
John
60s with John Wooden. Can Connecticut go ahead and do it 3 times in a row? We'll have to see.
You know, they'll lose Klingon because he'll go to the NBA draft. I'm not sure about whether the other 4 starters, if they're younger or seniors, or I don't have that in front of me, but knowing how this guy coaches and how he is able to bring his team along, I got a feeling they're going to be in the conversation for sure.
This is one of those deals where you wonder why anyone would care, and I don't know why they kept bringing it up last night. It seemed like they were reaching for something to talk about, but Zach Edey and Donovan Klingon made it so last night was the tallest matchup between centers in many, many, many years. The last time 2 7-footers, I guess, went at it in a title game was 1984 when Patrick Ewing and my favorite all-time player, Akeem Olajuwon, played each other in the title game last night. Okay, Klingon 7-2, Edey is 7-4. They kept bringing this up last night. I thought it was kind of what? So what? But there you go.
I kept laughing last night when you would look at Edey, and then, Smith from Purdue, that Braden Smith or whatever, would stand next to him, and he looked so tiny.
Yeah.
And he's 6 foot tall, too.
7'4" is pretty tall.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so what is this? Karl Anthony Towns is expected to return from his injury soon.
Well, good.
Maybe even before the regular season is over.
Well, that would be this week.
That's this week.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this. Did anyone expect this?
Well, I think as far as the timeline is concerned, this is about right, what they were talking about, that he would be ready close to the start of the postseason. So.
Okay. I guess I had heard different, or I was tuning it out.
I think the timing of this is about right.
He participated in his first post-injury team scrimmage on Sunday. They say he's very, very close to coming back. Yeah. That's impressive.
That's a great thing.
What the hell did he do again? He tore something loose. He
MCL?
Torn meniscus in his left knee. All right. I'll believe it when I see it.
I mean, it will be great for the Wolves to be at, I put this in air quotes, full strength, because that way, we get a full view of what this team can do in the postseason when they're all on the floor at the same time. If he had missed the playoffs, then there'd always be that question, what could they have done if Cat was on the floor? Now we won't have to, ask that question. Sounds like he will be on the floor. May not be at 100%, but he will be on the floor, and that's, you want to see this team at full strength.
All I got to say is I didn't see anybody. I didn't see anybody with a Karl towel at WrestleMania.
No.
That was awesome.
Janelle, did you say you love dad jokes?
I do.
Got a text from Dinky Doo Trucker Butt Jesus. He says, I'm a dad and I'm also a complete joke. What's good? What's good? Victor Wembanyama? He has his own logo. Did you guys know that players have their own logo?
I saw his at least.
Because this article, written by SB Nation, goes on and on about how this is the best logo, and they make it seem, Anthony Edwards is a big star. Is there an Anthony Edwards logo that I'm not aware of? Victor Wembanyama has his own logo. And during the total eclipse yesterday, Nike unveiled is how you say it, a picture of his new logo. It appeared to have been carved into a field, like a crop circle type of a thing.
Wembanyama?
Oh, it's an alien inside a basketball with 2 Nike swooshes next to it. I don't know. Does anyone get into this? This is totally new to me.
I've never seen this before. It's the first time.
It looks like Anthony Edwards does have a logo.
He has a logo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Looks like pine trees in the middle.
Right there.
Okay. It's supposed to look like a letter A, sort of?
That's what it looks like.
With a pine tree to indicate the this is all new to me. But people,
you see Tiger Woods' logo, obviously.
He has a logo?
Yeah.
What is it?
He even has his own line of golf clothes. It's that TW.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Okay, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, here's another logo.
That's the Pornhub logo, Josh.
Oh, my God, you're right.
Would it be fair to say that the first logo ever would have been the Michael Jordan, he's going for the dunk? That would be the first one.
Swoosh Man. Yeah. But, okay, I guess.
Is that what it's called, Swoosh Man?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I guess this is, all this branding and marketing is not my thing. But this SB Nation website, they more or less fall down and touch themselves when they saw this logo.
There were a few sports blogs that went off on it. Thought how great it was.
One of the best logos in the NBA, maybe one of the best in all of sports. I guess I gotta look this up. I didn't know this was a thing.
I guess I didn't really get that feeling when I looked at it, but
does it kind of symbolize that Wembanyama is out of this world?
Wembanyama? Well, I guess he's an artist.
Oh, he is?
I think
he designed that?
Well, I don't have... It says he loves to draw.
Okay.
And so maybe he had some input with the Nike people.
Okay.
Nike, whatever they're called. Yeah. So they worked together on it. He's an artist. He's making over $100 million with his tennis shoe. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
And I misspoke. The Jordan thing, just to clear that up, is Jumpman, not Swoosh Man.
Ah, yes.
Nobody knew a damn thing. We didn't notice. Back to that eclipse. Charles Barkley was not impressed. And he kind of went after anyone who enjoyed it.
He said, if you want to go out in the dark, just wait till it's dark outside.
Well, y'all, some of them losers standing outside watching that today. They're not losers. Yes, they are. No, doesn't happen often. Hey, we've all seen darkness before. Stop it.
No, not in the daylight.
Come on, man.
Come on, Chuckster. Don't hate on the eclipse. You're not a fan of it.
Well, I'm not going to sit outside like an idiot and wait on the darkness.
This was a very worthwhile segment.
He's the best. Oh, God. I never should have brought up logos. Someone brought up the TB12 thing.
Oh, gross. That's on all my clothes.
Somebody texted in the TB12. Oh, you had to be there. But one night we were all very drunk shooting pool at my favorite neighborhood bar. Some guy walks in. He wasn't part of our regular billiard group. And his name was Brady. All night long, we called him TB12. he had no idea what we were talking about. Hey, TB12, you're up. He's just looking around like, who? Looking behind himself. I'm TB12. Ah, crap. I hate that stuff. Now I know what we're talking about. TB12. Plenty to watch on television tonight, Randy Shaver. We mentioned the Twins and the Dodgers, then the Wolves and the Wizards.
Yep.
The Wolves and the Wizards.
That should be over in the end of the first half, hopefully.
Well, that's what you said when they played Portland or whoever, and it was a friggin' nail-biter, you bastards.
Let's hope it's not that late tonight.
Pigs and Avalanche. We get to see Zachy again, 8:30 ESPN.
And 6:30 before the game.
Oh, no.
Oh,
here we go.
You didn't give me any information on this ahead of time. This isn't legit.
Oh, it's definitely legit. I'll be hanging out at the Well in Coon Rapids from 6:30 to 8:30. We'll be there before the game. We'll be hanging out with Coors Light, giving away Wild Sweet tickets.
Yeah, we know.
Only 2 left.
This isn't over yet?
2 left.
You got to give us a heads up. Josh and I got to clear this kind of stuff.
Yeah, we didn't know anything. You can't go out on a work night. Ashley, you're going. Ashley, are you going? It's right by your house.
No.
You're not going to make it.
I've never even heard of that place, to be honest.
It's better than last time when everyone's like, maybe I'll show up, and in my back of my head, I'm like, no, they're not coming.
Wave the white flag on this stuff, Wamble, will you? Enough already.
Nah, I need money.
You said you've got 2 more?
Yeah, 2 more.
Waffle, I've told you, if you do one in my basement, I might swing down and say hello to you.
You might swing down.
Mm-hmm. God, I'm tired of this.
Waffle, I've been very honest with you over the years.
Yes,
I'm not coming to any of those. I've never once...
Yeah, you said there was one last year in Egan, and you said, oh, boy, I can't do that.
I said it's right by my house. I'm not going to make it.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Plus, it's a work night.
That's the thing. You have these on work nights. You got to do it on a weekend.
Randy, go ahead and create your own logo real quick on the air for us, will you? What would be your logo? Just like an old armchair and a
butt
and a Viagra pill.
Yeah.
Oh, for him it would be like perfect hair. That's what I think it should be.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Like a Lego hair.
I got it. Yeah,
yes.
a perfect head of hair on top of a Viagra pill. Like,
and just one cowlick straight up.
Oh, man.
Golf carts, life jackets.
I looked around. We're all
floating in a glass of pudding.
That's right. No, that's perfect.
With the exception of Janelle, we're all wearing logos today, I think, in some way.
What do you mean?
We're all have some sort of logo shirt on or sweatshirt. Like
My God.
You got your Twins one on.
All right. What
I
are
got
you?
Iron Maiden
Iron Maiden and Devani's?
Bonnie's. What a combo. How about you could go to Devani's and put Iron Maiden on the jukebox? I love Devani's. Now, that's someplace in Egan I'll go, Wop.
Yes.
Unless you're there.
I'll try to reroute it.
F me running. We're all logoed up, Cubby says. Oh, God. Gas, Janelle.
He gets that. It attacks him sometimes.
It happens.
It's just overwhelming.
I'm sorry, Nick.
I appreciate
It's been hitting him more and more.
Is that
I'd say,
right?
This last year.
I don't know.
Then I'm sorry for you too, Josh.
You know what? I've...
Tell him, Cubby.
What is that? Stockholm Syndrome? Or if he doesn't do it, I apologize like it's my fault. No. Go ahead. You got to do it.
So let me try to get through this real quick because Josh passed it to me at the very last second.
I apologize.
No. What the hell are you apologizing for? I'm the one who sits in here and farts all day. Marc-Andre Fleury and how do you call that other kid? Brandon Duhaime have been pranking each other back and forth. Now, we learned from Marcus Foligno, who maybe, are we talking to Marcus tomorrow?
We are.
Is he's going to come on the program?
That's the word.
He's mentioned this before, the pranking back and forth. Fleury likes to prank, Duhaime likes to prank. So now that Duhaime doesn't play here anymore, plays for Colorado, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But they've been pranking each other with the game here in town last week between the two teams, and now they're playing each other again tonight. Is that what I'm understanding here?
That's correct. 6:30, the well.
Little pregame party?
Just shameless.
Last week, Duhaime covered Fleury's pickup in toilet paper.
Yes, I saw that.
Now, a couple days ago, Fleury put Duhaime's vehicle up on blocks in the team parking lot and put a for sale sign in the windshield.
That picture is so funny. He goes for it, man.
Oh, man.
I don't even know why you'd start with him.
And then he has a signature, what do they call that, Josh? He has a, I can't think of the term, but
Gosh, I don't know
he leaves a sign, not literally but figuratively, so Duhaime or anyone else he pranks knows it was him. What's that called in the business? At any rate,
he leaves his calling card.
There you go. Thank you, Randy Shaver.
Signature works too.
Fleury left a flower and a little bit of potting soil because his nickname is the Flower, so Duhaime knows where it came from.
He's the best.
It's all very clever stuff. So I don't know. I guess we'll keep an eye out for what's next between these two guys.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're done for the year.
I'm glad I don't have a person like that in my life, because I would be looking over my shoulder constantly.
You know, we do.
Fun.
Our boss is so good at trolling. Derek is one of the better ones. He's good. He's got a good memory, too, and he's very creative.
I had a little bit of that happening when we were young guys in our teens and 20s. Really gross pranks that we'd pull on each other when we were living up at St. Cloud State. I won't get into those, but I've told you the story about the buddy of mine who got in costume and came to my house and we almost shot him. Okay? I'm not going to tell the whole story again, but dude came to my place at night, completely disguised, fooled me altogether, and we almost killed him because we thought he was a psycho trying to get into my house. I did get back at him. I don't know if I've ever shared this before. I did get back at him once. A buddy of mine's dad worked in the glass industry, selling auto glass, that kind of a thing. And they used to give away this keychain. Maybe you've seen something similar. The keychain, to advertise their glass company, was a little hammer. And when you made a little rubber hammer that hung on your keychain, and when you made contact, it would make the sound of breaking glass. You ever seen one of those things before?
No.
No.
Really? Okay. So I pranked this guy back. He calls me one night, and just general, what's going on? And I said, not much. There's just these friggin' derelicts in my front yard, just kind of wandering around. He says, what? And I said, yeah, just like a string of derelicts walking in. And then I took the phone away from my face. Hey, get the hell off my property. What's the matter with you? And he said, what's going on over there? And I said, again, there's just some young. And then I made that glass breaking sound, right? And I went, total silence until he says, hello, are you there? I led him to believe that I was attacked by crackhead teenagers and killed in my own home. So that was my way of getting it. Was a hell of a lot of fun. Other than that, I don't know. We never really had any prank wars around here or anything, have we, Josh?
Just little ones.
Maybe
I think
we should start some.
I'm too old for the gig now, Janelle.
No?
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, Randy's saying he's never taken part. Seems like at the end of his career, we could make that happen.
I had a little something with one of my neighbors, but he was the best because he wouldn't give you the satisfaction of letting you know he was aware of the prank. And that was the best move.
Fun.
It wasn't fun for me, but I respected it so much. There was a time he couldn't go to work because I parked too close to his car, and he wouldn't tell me that the side that I parked on, the door didn't open. Or the other side, excuse me, didn't open. So he couldn't get into his car, and he just called in sick for work. He wouldn't give me the satisfaction of telling me to move my vehicle. He was that committed.
Janelle, I kind of wish you wouldn't have mentioned the idea of pranking Randy now that he's retiring, because that'd be a perfect time to do it.
No, it would not be.
Yes, it would. Something really dramatic at your retirement party.
There's not going to be a retirement party, so I hate to disappoint you.
You're not going to have a retirement party?
I am not having a retirement party.
Really? No. That shocks me. That shocks me.
Why would it shock you?
Because you love attention so much.
I don't love attention, no.
Because that'd be a perfect time to get an old timer.
I am not having a retirement.
If he was going to have one, Wapple, where should Randy have his retirement party and when?
We could go to the well in Coon Rapids.
Oh, my God.
But I don't know if I could engage in a prank war now. I think I'm too old. I'm getting more and more gullible every day as I age. I mean,
and I don't think you like it if people pull pranks on you. I don't think you have the patience for it.
It depends on the type. It depends. I mean, but overall, generally speaking, I think I'm wearing a heart monitor right now. It's not a lie. So be careful around me. Randy Shaver,
That's only because Janelle's in there.
It has skyrocketed.
Yeah. You wear that every time she comes in just to make sure you don't overdo it.
Well, you know. And if you don't know, now you know. It's a true story.
Roastmaster Jesus brings up a good point. This would be a terrible time to start pranking Randy because he'll be retiring and he'll have nothing but time to decide on how to get back to the
That is true.
He's a dangerous man.
It's true.
All right, Randy Shaver, thanks for everything, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
We got to go, but Janel Klein sticking around. We'll be back in a few minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
It is the triple savings spring sale at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Install a new furnace and AC combo and save up to $3,000 with manufacturer and utility rebates along with Standard Heating's discount. That's a trifecta. Visit standardheating.com.
When you have sports mixed with your pop culture, along with humor and celebrity interviews, your earbuds are enjoying The Rich Eisen Show.
Kevin Millar, we're all paying rent in Ohtani's world, right?
And the Dodgers world. Game is healthy, game is good. And, I get asked a lot, is that good for baseball? Yeah, it's good for baseball. This is definitely the team to beat because that should be your next correction, Richie, is this World Series a bust for the Dodgers and Dave Roberts?
Hell yeah. Search for The Rich Eisen Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, thank you for being there. We appreciate it very much. Welcome back to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. We're already up to 8:33 here on this Tuesday morning. The Norwegian Fox, Janel Klein, is all up in here. Hello, Janelle.
Hello.
So you said you like dad jokes, huh?
Oh, I do.
Yeah. It sucks that you said that because now people are, people are sending in dad jokes, and since they want to please you, and because we want to please you, I'm going to read one of them.
Okay.
You like dad jokes, huh? A listener says, this is Body Shop Jesus. He went to the zoo yesterday. They only had one animal. It was a dog. It was a Shih Tzu. What the hell do I have here in front of me? Oh, I got something we might want to touch on. But just first and foremost, what's been going on, Janelle? Tell us what you've been up to. Any hot dates?
No hot dates.
Any drama?
Zero drama.
No drama?
Have you had to leave the state for any hot stories?
Not, I thought maybe the eclipse, and I didn't have to do that. So that was probably a good thing. I was in D.C. last week for a little bit, but it was nothing exciting.
For work?
Kind of for work, yeah. I have nothing great to tell you guys.
Have you gotten a hold of that drinking problem?
I'm working on it.
All right.
You're working on starting one,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
No drama?
Not really.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any drama?
Oh, there's always drama.
Well,
Yeah,
let's
there's
talk
drama.
about it.
I don't think we can.
Oh, we
some
can't?
of it.
Legal reasons.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
I mean, I get it.
Do you know what you walked into here, Janelle? Let me tell you what you're going to be dealing with. It is national isn't a word. National. Have you heard that before?
Yeah,
I have.
It's not a word.
I just heard it on the radio.
It is National Mature Woman's Day. What's up, mature ladies?
Wow. What does that mean?
What's good?
Mature. Is that a euphemism for old?
Yes,
Oh,
for
okay.
women who are aging and embracing the aging process.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice way to say old.
It's National Mature Woman's Day. And you know who was called here in an article the hottest mature woman in Hollywood? I almost gave it away. Why don't you guess?
I mean, there's a lot of them. I don't know what you consider mature, but
Yeah, I don't either.
It looks like they're starting at 51, which doesn't seem that old.
yeah.
Over 50.
Over 50
God. I mean,
in Hollywood.
I think Sandra Bullock is beautiful.
You gotta be kidding me.
No way.
Janel
What?
Klein just, well, at least according to this article, Janel Klein just dumped the number one answer.
Really? Oh,
That's insane.
Wow.
Sandra
Out of
Bullock
everybody, too. Wow.
was named the hottest mature woman in Hollywood. They had others in here. Some of them I don't know. Gina Torres, don't know her. Michelle Yeoh, I don't know her.
Oh, yeah.
Viola Davis, I don't know her. The others I do. Rita Moreno, she's 90 years old. Dolly Parton, 76. Jamie Lee Curtis, 63.
Hubba.
Queen Latifah, 51. Jennifer Lopez, 52. Diane Keaton, 76. Halle Berry, 55. Nicole Kidman, 56 years old. Those are the others that make the list of the hottest. But you know the thing about Sandra Bullock? Cubby, tell me if this is the liquor talking. But I always thought she looked a lot like my ex-wife.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
No, what? Really?
And she's cool. She's very funny and cool.
yeah.
She was on, I think, an episode of Smart List, the podcast Smart List.
Oh, was she really?
Yeah, she's great.
I need to listen to that.
Julia Roberts, I'd put her on that
Oh,
list.
yeah. Sure.
56.
Yep.
Oh,
Salma Hayek, I'd put her on that list at 57.
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer
Yes.
Aniston, 55. Elizabeth Hurley,
Yes.
I'd like to throw her on that list, 58. That sounded like I was going to go dirty.
It did.
I didn't mean for it to sound that way. I just mean I'd put her on this list. Christy Brinkley, 70.
Whoa.
Looking great. Now, some of these women obviously maybe aren't aging gracefully in the way that it's natural and embracing
Right.
the aging I guess I don't know
Yeah.
who's had, because I'd like to put Cher on that list, but she's obviously had work done, so I don't know if that fits with National Mature Women's Day.
I would never put Cher on that list. You want to know why?
Why?
Because I do not believe in life after love.
Why not?
I just don't.
You do too. You're on your second love.
I do not
You do.
believe in life.
You've had two loves.
Sharon Stone, 66.
Sharon stuff.
Angela Bassett, come on, 65. She's on that list. She's got to be.
Yeah, I hear you. I ain't arguing with any of your answers over there, Cup. We're all getting older. Janelle, let me throw this at you. We're talking about this and that. Who was the person, now that we're all older, everyone can chime in on this. Who was the person you looked up to when you were a kid, and who's the person you look up to now?
Like,
Maybe
as
it's
a-
the same person.
As a role model, or as like, oh, she's hot. I hope I look like that when I'm that age.
However you want to determine it. I guess I was more or less speaking of just someone you idolized,
Oh,
looked up to, wanted to emulate.
Like a celebrity?
Sure. It could be, but it could be anybody, Janel Klein.
Well, I mean, my mother, of course.
Your mother?
That's my answer. Your
Right.
mother.
That is so sweet.
I'm with you, Janelle. That's the only person that actually comes to my mind.
Yeah.
Would
Your
you
mom
ev-
is cool, Ashley.
Would you ever
Heck yeah,
have?
she is.
Would you ever bother introducing us to your folks?
Oh, sure.
Would you be nervous?
No.
Good.
They would love you guys.
Your mother, when you were a kid, and that probably hasn't changed, knowing you to the level that I think I know you, I bet your answer today as to who you look up to today is also still your mother.
Yes. I have a great mom, and I had 2 really cool, funny grandmas as well.
Tell us about the funny grandmas.
Oh, God.
A lot of fart jokes.
Just, yeah, all the time. I don't know. My one grandma for sure was, I'm not kidding, the funniest person I've ever met. She was just so funny.
What was her sense of humor like?
Just
Like,
always,
did she work blue ever?
Yes.
She did.
Filthy grandma.
There was some of that.
Dirty jokes from grandma.
She was just, everything around, like being around her, everything was fun. You know, one of those people.
Well, that's nice to hear.
Even into her late, 80s, 90s, hilarious.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
The person you looked up to when
What
you
about
were
you guys? Don't you have like a older, well, I don't know. It doesn't have to be a woman, but since it is Mature Woman Day, do you have a role model or someone? Or who is your hottest mature woman? Like on that list, who's number 1 for you?
Oh, God, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm going to go Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah.
Of the ones we've mentioned.
Yeah. That's a good one. She looks like she hasn't aged in like 20 years.
I
Like
know.
she looks the same as she used to, like way long ago.
In 3 years, I'll say Jessica Chastain. She's not quite 50 yet.
Yeah.
I'm waiting until I can put her on this list.
You gotta wait.
I can't lie. When I was a kid, I looked up to people like Davy Jones from the Monkees, Paul Stanley from Kiss, Bobby Smith from the Minnesota North Stars. Those were the guys
Yeah.
whom I'm missing. Now, I'd say my dad.
Yeah.
The poor guy died, but I can still count him. He's always been the guy that I looked up to.
Yeah. I always wanted to meet your dad.
I wish you would have.
I think I would have gotten a huge kick out of him.
Oh, I'm sure
everybody did.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would have.
For me, when I was a kid, Sylvester Stallone, Steve Vai, Kirby Puckett. Those would be a few.
Dude, how can you not mention Turkey Bucket?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Does anyone else have an interesting set of answers to the question who you looked up to as a kid and who you look up to now?
Well, Wapo looks down on most people now. He thinks he's above the rest of us.
I always looked up to Ricky Carmichael.
He rode those motorcycles.
Yeah, I was big into motorcycles, me and my buddies.
I don't think I've ever known that about you.
Yeah, we were big into Supercross, FMX, all that stuff.
Really?
But I just never had the money. Me and my parents and family never had the money to get into it.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
Not a cheap
but I
sport.
We didn't either.
Loved all that stuff.
Me too.
And as far as, mature women, which ones I find wildly attractive, Janelle, I'll try to go down that route. I'm not tuned in at all to who is who. So I mean, obviously I know who Jennifer Aniston is and who'd you say, Sandra
Bullock?
No, the one you said looks like she did 20 years ago.
Elizabeth Hurley.
I know who some of these people are.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the only way I can play this game is maybe go back to when I was a little boy and tell you about the women that I was drawn to on television and whatnot. Because if they're still living, they're certainly mature at this point. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
I was driven wild by Debbie Boone. Anyone?
No.
Oh, yeah, I could see why.
She sang "You Light Up My Life." Nobody aside from Josh?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah,
Debbie
she
Boone,
was
she's
beautiful.
the daughter of Pat Boone. She sang a song when I was a little boy called "You Light Up My Life." I can't believe the rest of you, but you're younger.
Sorry.
You're younger. I get it. I thought I was a tiny little kid. When she would sing that song on television, I was convinced she was singing it to me. In the end, she was singing it to Jesus.
Radio
thing.
Jesus.
Same thing.
But Debbie Boone, I thought she was the most beautiful thing. Of course, Olivia Newton-John. I've mentioned that many times. What was her name again? I do this every time. She's from here. She was in the King Kong movie in 1977 with Jeff Bridges. gorgeous beyond repair. She does a current show now. Is anyone on Google?
Yeah, I'm looking. Jessica Lange?
Jessica Lange. I couldn't breathe when she was on television. Sally Field. Bernadette Peters.
Oh, yeah. Those are great ones.
So there you go. I hope they're all doing all right. I don't know if I don't. Maybe some of those people have checked out. I don't know. But that was the route I took as a little kid.
KARE 11's Janel Klein.
This is the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right, Janelle. This is your friggin' fault again. You said you like dad jokes. I got another one for you.
Okay.
Got another dad joke from a listener.
Okay.
Let's see here. How does this one go, Janelle? Do you know how to make pickle bread? You have to use dill dough.
Oh, my God.
Hey, you friggin' asked for it.
You're right.
Do you know any jokes?
Oh, gosh.
See, you play a good... You got a good cover. You do. I'm going to bust it out, Josh. I'm going to tell the secret. Janelle's the one who told us the 13 joke.
Yeah. She's got a filthy sense of humor.
The most famous joke we've ever told on this. Janelle's the one who told us the 13 joke.
I was trying to think, and I'm like, what could I tell that I've heard that's funny that I could say on the radio? I don't know.
All right.
No dad jokes.
Maybe before we go, you'll come up
Yeah,
with...
let me think.
Everyone's got one joke.
Yeah, I should have a go-to.
People continue to text in now on... how do I say this again? And that's twice I've tried to say national and said national. National Mature Women's Day today. Okay. People are continuing to text in on the mature women that drive them crazy, that they find to be beautiful or inspiring. Women that they've looked up to. And this goes back many, many years. You know, I threw Debbie Boone at you a few minutes ago, and none of you, aside from Cubby, had ever heard of Debbie Boone. She sang the song You Light Up My Life, and then she moved on to country music. And You Light Up My Life was #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 10 weeks or something like that. It was massive. Then she moves on to country music. She moves on to Christian music. I just looked her up on YouTube or something. What do you call it? Google. She still looks terrific. I don't know. She's in her 70s somewhere. She looks great. Says she's currently dating Steve-O from the Jackass show. I don't. Debbie Boone still looks great. Okay, this is going way back too. A couple listeners texted in about the Mandrell sisters. Oh, I was wildly in love with the Mandrell sisters, who used to appear on television back in the 70s. There was Barbara, there was Arlene, and there was another one, and I can't think of her name. That's a fun topic. Appreciate all your text messages. Someone looked that up. Who was the other Mandrell sister? Barbara, Arlene, and Louise?
Yes.
Louise. Do you have any pets, Janelle?
I don't.
Did you hear that Dr. P's trying to get rid of a couple of puppies?
I did not.
Oh, you should adopt his puppies.
Let's talk about it.
Do you have an interest in having a... I suppose you're gone so much.
That's the thing.
And so unpredictable.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get a dog, and then I think, well, who am I kidding?
I forget. Yeah, you're out of town so much.
Why is he giving away...
He's fostering. Oh. Is that the proper term?
Yep.
He's fostering a couple of puppies. He brought it up again yesterday on the show.
Okay.
And he's trying to get rid of them. One of them's name is Squirt, and the other one's name is Double Squirt. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. He's got 2 puppies.
What kind?
I don't know. Little ones. They got 4 legs. They bark.
Right. Got a tail.
I don't know if we ever asked him that question. But that sucks. I forgot. Yeah, you're out of town.
I know. It would be really fun. What about you? Well, you had some really cute dogs. I remember you bringing a dog in here, Nick, and I fell in love with your little pooch.
Was it the one who was in a wheelchair?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, she's deader than Derringer. But I currently have a cat and a dog.
Okay.
Tiny.
You don't have any room to adopt.
No, Jesus, no.
Yeah.
That would be miserable.
Somebody from the Brotherhood will come forward, I think.
Well, that's what Dr. P's
He
looking
kind of
for.
bitched about that yesterday.
Yeah, he was whining.
He expected somebody to adopt the dogs after the first time.
It's stressing him out. It's a lot of work. He mentioned yesterday, it's a lot of damn
He's
work.
losing sleep.
Taking care of 2
Looked
puppies.
like Albert Einstein yesterday.
His hair was crazy. That was wild, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like he combed his hair with one of the dogs.
Yeah, he rode his motorcycle in and just decided he wasn't going to wear his helmet.
And Josh over there's got, what, 2 Great Danes?
2, yep.
If we send these puppies over to Josh's house, those Great Danes are going to tuck them between their cheek and gum like it's a Copenhagen.
Yeah, because they're little dogs.
They're little puppies.
Yeah.
Well, maybe someday.
Someday.
Would you be interested?
Yeah,
you would.
Like, I think if you were retired and you just were hanging out all the time, or, I've always said, like, if I had a good friend or a family member or somebody that would take the dog last minute when I had to run out to do something, I would probably have done it. I just don't have anybody that I would feel like I could just drop the dog last minute on him.
Yep. Right, you feel like you're putting someone out.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a pain in the ass of having a dog.
Yeah.
You got to make sure someone's there to look after it. Unlike a cat, you can walk away for 6 days. You come home and the cat. You can go away for a week. You come home and the cat says, "What? You were gone?" You know what I mean?
What about a cat, Janelle? Would you do that?
I'm not a fan of cats.
Oh, okay.
I'm really not.
What about the musical?
Yes to that.
So you're in media.
Yep.
So you're obviously emotionally damaged. Right? That's
Totally.
kind of what leads people into the quote unquote profession.
There's no question about it.
Yes.
Maybe you could have a dog that is an emotional support animal, and you could just bring your dog with you wherever you go.
Great. That would be so good.
Easy.
Oh man, I forgot about that option.
Yeah.
The emotional support animal. Hell yeah. Man, it doesn't have to be a dog.
This person says, I know someone selling a Rottweiler German Shepherd mix. We had one of those. Best dog I've ever had.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I miss her.
Oh, man.
Every day.
Nick, do your dog and cat get along?
They're brand new to each other.
Really?
Okay. We just got this tiny little Yorkie. And what was this, a month ago? I don't even know.
About a month ago.
3 weeks ago, a month ago, we got this. We're fostering this Yorkie.
Okay.
But we've now decided to keep it. Did the cat and dog dog get along? It's getting better every day. Mm-hmm. But and the Yorkie's a little puppy. She's, I don't know, 6 months old or something. So you know how that is. She wants to constantly play, and the cat is 10 years old, and he looks at her as if he's thinking, you're picking on the wrong character here.
Yeah.
I'm beyond that. I just want to sit here and, lick my feet.
Right.
But more and more, they're starting to spend a little more time together, and it'll get there. But, not only is there a difference in, one's a cat, one's a dog, but they got a grand age difference here where, the cat doesn't really care that the dog is running 300 miles an hour in a circle while carrying a, one of its dried turds in its mouth or whatever puppies
So you
do.
guys
Yes.
fostered the Yorkie, and were you like, all right, this is like a 2-week deal, and then we're out, and then you fell in love, or how did this go down?
It was a deal where we're trying it out.
Yeah.
Trying the dog out, see if it works. Well, we both had high hopes that we would keep her, and now we're going to.
Oh,
so,
good.
Yeah. So
That's great.
Yeah. We'll see how it all. But it's the first dog I've ever had that goes potty indoors.
Really?
Yep.
What's the deal?
You get him a little damn. This effing thing is about. I mean, it's like a pound.
Oh, because it's so little.
I'm not going to let the thing out into the yard. A friggin' owl's going to pick it up. And an owl will tear its insides out and display it for me, and that would make me feel bad. I can't. It didn't dawn on me till we got the dog back to the house. I looked at it, and I looked outside, and I said, it's small enough to get through the gaps in the fence.
Yeah.
So it dawned on me, holy balls, we're going to have to. So you get a little cat-looking litter box. You put a pee pad in there, and she does her business right there in the house in front of everybody.
Is there any chance you'll bring her in?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God, would
I'd
you?
love to see her.
That'd be really fun.
Oh, yeah, she's. It's a tiny little Yorkie. That's all they want to do is just be held.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really odd, though, to sit there watching a Twins game with a beer in one hand and a remote in the other, and the dog walks by me over to a box and lays a turd out for me.
His wife does the same thing.
Oh, at least the cat, I got the litter box way down in the basement, way down in the far corner, so the cat can go do, sure, I'll clean the litter box once, but he's all by himself. The dog she locks eyes with me.
Yeah.
Makes eye contact while doing it. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing, but we really like it. We really like her. She's a nice gal.
Yeah. Okay, bring her in. We
Very
want to
cute.
meet her.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could even do it, in the next few days. I'll talk to the friggin' wife. Because those two are inseparable.
Is that right?
Yes, they are.
Oh.
So I'll have to say, hey, do you mind if I take your little character away from you for a few hours? We'll see how that plays out. We got to get the hell out of here.
Yes.
Janelle, thank you very much.
Thanks, you guys.
We'll see you hopefully in a week.
I hope so.
And take care of yourself.
Thanks. You guys too.
Yep. Nice seeing you
Nice
again.
to see you.
Congratulations to Caitlin and Brady, proud new parents of Maya Jean. Welcome to the sisterhood from Papa Party Pete. Dinky Doo Trucker Butt Jesus wants to wish his wife a happy anniversary. Touch of Gray Rider Jesus text in happy birthday shout out to his better half. Happy belated birthday to P Isn't Funny, P is P Jesus. And happy 34th to Cameron, the cutest boy in town from the Wingies.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Install a new furnace and AC combo and save up to $3,000 with manufacturer and utility rebates along with Standard Heating's discount. Visit standardheating.com.